Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
The Oklahoma City Thunder are one win away from their first ever NBA championship. For the first time in the finals, they lead the Pacers 3 victories to 2, a resounding Game 5 home court win, 120-109, as the Thunder have 2 shots to get 1 win to hoist their first ever NBA title. Tonight, magnificent work by Jalen Williams with 40 points, a career playoff high.
That was Matt Pinto on Thunder Radio. Yeah, Jalen Williams, 40 points, 24 of them in the second half. He went 8 for 13. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, also amazing, 31, 4 blocks, 10 assists. And now OKC looks like they have this thing wrapped up. Welcome to the show, Maggie Perloff. Yeah, it's over.
Oh,
but
no.
That's fine.
So you think that Game 6, you think that Oklahoma City, who can't hit three-pointers, is going to hit almost 50% of their three-pointers in Indiana?
I think that having 23 turnovers for the Pacers, or 23, or steals, however you want to put this, the stifling defense from the Thunder and how they're turning over the Pacers. It was a miracle that the Pacers could win Game 1 in this final.
Yeah, they
turned the ball over. Last night, not the same.
It was almost exactly the same game. They had 25 turnovers in Game 1 to 7 for the Thunder, and then the Thunder got tired, and the Pacers made a run. Last night they made the run, and then something happened at the end where the Thunder were able to answer because they hit their threes last night, which never happens.
Okay, but
that is not going to happen again in Game 6. We're going to have to win differently.
But you're saying at the end, so what have the Pacers really been doing this entire postseason? The comebacks, right?
Yeah,
the comebacks
get hot at the end.
Have been amazing. But the end of a basketball game, an NBA game, is 4 minutes. The Thunder...
The timing was off,
timing was totally up. So the Pacers cut the deficit to 2 with 8.5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Too much time left. The Pacers couldn't hold up. Then all of a sudden you had OKC went on this 14-4 run, and it was curtains again. And here's another big reason why I actually liked this series going into it. I know Perloff has 100 problems with how this series is being played. We'll get into that. But I thought this was going to be a pretty compelling series, and it has been. But now with Tyrese Halliburton even more banged up than he was before, I think it's over. It was admirable what the Pacers have been able to do in this entire postseason. Yeah. How they've been great on the road. How they've been able to have these unbelievable comebacks. But they're out of gas now.
Wait,
the
Thunder are the Thunder are exhausted. That's a fact. They just got torched by T.J. McConnell. You think a non-exhausted Shai Gilgeous-Alexander played 38 minutes last night? He's not used to that. He's dragging. He's grabbing his shorts like my old man run on Saturday morning. He looks tired. I'm telling you, last night Jalen Williams 3 for 5 from 3-point. He was 3 for 14 from the series coming in. They go out to Indy. They're not going to be able to shoot like that. The big problem, to me, the story of the game last night was the Pacers' run got cut short because Tyrese Halliburton was not himself.
Right. Well, here's the other part, though. You're saying that the Thunder looked tired. Well, T.J. McConnell had this amazing third quarter where he keeps the Pacers in this game,
right.
And then he barely plays in the fourth quarter because of a combination of Rick Carlisle wanting to ride with Tyrese Halliburton, and also he was tired. I think he has to come out of the game because he only plays on one speed.
That's very true, but he had to be rested at that point. I think that Rick Carlisle wanted to go with the guy who got in there, which makes sense. But 34 minutes for Halliburton last night was baffling. I'm not the only one with this take. I think everyone came away from that game and said, Rick Carlisle, what happened? Why did you go with Halliburton? He clearly was favoring his right calf, was totally ineffective.
At one point, left the game in the first half because the calf was so bad.
He was grabbing it the whole game. Yeah. That was what was different. What was different last night was there was no Halliburton for that run at the end. OKC had trouble scoring the last 3 minutes, just like they had in Game 1. It was just the Pacers didn't have their thing going. There was no Pacers last-minute heroics.
No magic. Here is Rick Carlisle saying Tyrese Halliburton is battling through an injury.
He's not 100%. It's pretty clear. But I don't think he's going to miss the next game. And, we were concerned at halftime. And he insisted on playing. And I thought he made a lot of really good things happen in the second half. But he's not 100%, and there's a lot of guys in this series that aren't.
Okay, more from Carlisle saying he appreciates Halliburton's toughness to play through being hurt.
This is a lifetime opportunity. And not many guys are going to sit, even if they're a little banged up. If you're injured, that's a different story, but we'll evaluate everything with Tyrese and, see how he wakes up tomorrow.
He's just such at times can be a really maddening player to watch, right? Because Haliburton is a pass-first point guard. You understand what he's trying to do. But last night, Perloff, in a Game 5 on the road, when you are the best player on the team, him and Pascal Siakam are the two best players on the Pacers, you're 0 for 6. You're 0 for 4 from 3. The only points he had were 4 free throws. Manny is... Yeah, it's not enough. Now, here's more from Carlisle, why he took out T.J. McConnell. Now, McConnell, as I said, had this unbelievable third quarter.
T.J. Michael Jordan McConnell? Is that who you're talking about?
Is that something like that? Is that what his friends call him?
Yeah,
he was 6 for 8.
I saw this meme going around that was half T.J. McConnell's face, half Michael Jordan's face.
Call him AJ McConnell.
I'm surprised it took this long. We're 5 minutes in the show. No one's brought up T.J. McConnell's sister.
Yeah, fair point.
Carlisle took him out because he was tired.
He was very tired. That's why we got him out. And I think there was a play early in the fourth where it looked like fatigue had set in there. And then, Ty was back in, and then that group went on a good run there. So, yeah, it's always a consideration.
Listen, we can slice and dice this thing 100 ways.
No. There's no 100 ways. He should have put T.J. McConnell back in.
Okay, I'll give you that.
That's one way.
But he would have also ran out of gas. Like I just
put
don't...
him back. He had a rest. Maybe put him back with 4 minutes left or something like that, because he did get a big rest. What time was? I don't have the time.
So he played about 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, but a minute 50 of it was after Carlisle waved the white flag.
So I think that he could have gotten back in earlier.
Listen, I don't care. You turn the ball over that much.
Yeah.
The 23 turnovers. Again, I thought game 1, we all said it after game 1. How do you win a game when you turn the ball over like that?
You saw it they did
messed
the same
around
thing
and found out.
They did the same thing last night. They dragged the Thunder into deep water, and the Thunder got wiped out tired, and they were coming back. And then first 2 things happened. The Thunder actually hit 3-pointers, and Tyrese Haliburton couldn't take over the game like he's done.
Thunder 14 for 32, so about 44% from 3.
Uncharacteristic.
Okay, I think this is over. I've appreciated what the Pacers have done. They've kept everything very interesting. These are 2 teams with 0 history. These are emerging stars in the NBA. We didn't have a LeBron or a Steph Curry to kind of fall back on as the big star, and I've appreciated how these finals have gone. That being said, I do think this is over because I don't think the Pacers have enough, because if Haliburton is in any way seriously compromised, the magic is gone.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned he was 0 for 6. I don't think this is a Tyrese Haliburton has to do more situation, because I'm going to err on the side of the injury. I think that at the end of the day, that calf injury seems like he's a different player. So remember, that was a storyline. He's got to be more aggressive. I just don't think we need to go there for him. Don't you think it's the injury?
He shouldn't play.
No, I mean, I just think at the end of the day, in 3 months when we're evaluating the series, we're not going to say, man, Tyrese Haliburton came up small. I think we're going to say Tyrese Haliburton was hurt. No, you still play him, but this happens. Guys are compromised. NBA is a war of attrition in such a major way. You could go throughout the NBA Finals history and you can say, oh, that guy was on the court, but he was a little bit diminished.
I know. See, the only thing is, though, when we're talking about this grand stage and I think about guys being hurt, I have 2 things that immediately come to my mind. Obviously, one is grainy black and white-ish footage of Willis Reed limping back onto a court, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you don't want a boost. That was one game.
No, I understand, but lives on. And then I'll give you another one, which is Isaiah Thomas, who turned his ankle horribly and still played and still was a warrior.
I know what you mean. But that's one game.
I know, but this is what Tyrese Haliburton, that's the bar when we're talking about the NBA Finals. It's not going to be, my calf is a little, we've seen guys play through what looks like excruciating pain.
Yeah, he did it, and he played through all that, but I would think of Steph Curry in the comeback series for Cleveland. He had been out the series before, or 2 series before, with a knee injury. I just saw it like, wow, that's not the real Steph Curry throughout the thing, especially defensively. I mean, he was just toast in that series. I do think these minor injuries affect everything. I mean, are you ripping the Warriors for losing when KD went out? I mean,
literally
he was
tore
out.
His Achilles.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just saying that was injured.
Yeah, but I do think you You're right. I understand what you're saying, but you can't say he's doing something wrong when he's not himself. We see this all the time in the NBA where guys are out there, but they're not really out there full strength.
You're going to be kinder to Tyrese Halliburton than I think history is going to be.
Oh, no. This is going to be the calf injury game because the guy's obviously hurt. I mean, he's not going to get surgery, but do you not think he's injured?
I do, but I don't think people are going to, look back on that and say, well, what could the guy do? Especially if he's out there and they continue to play him, then it's going to be like, well, you're out there. We expect you to be a force. But here's the other question I want to ask you and the audience at 888-710-4ISN. Yes, you. Are you finding these games compelling? Because I am. They're close. They're interesting. The chess match between the two head coaches is obvious.
I agree.
Substitutions last night obviously favored more Mark Daigneault, not Rick Carlisle. Carlisle has been great in the playoffs. I think this has been good. You are not a fan of the series. You've never been a fan. You didn't like this from the get-go, and I feel like the play has not changed your mind.
That's absolutely not fair.
Okay.
It's not that I don't like it. I just understand why a casual fan would have no interest in this series.
Okay.
Because the style of play. I watched Jalen Williams 40 points last night. Incredible game.
Yeah.
I just watched a highlight reel of the shots. Mid-range, sort of a layup. It's a non-spectacular style of basketball. And I just don't think that it's kind of like Tim Duncan in a shooting guard version. I saw a comparison that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a perfect combination of LaMarcus Aldridge and Dwayne Wade. This is not.
But Wade was exciting.
But if you take LaMarcus Aldridge was the definition of non-exciting. So you put the two of them together and you get, okay. It's just mid-range. Nobody wants to see a 9-foot shot. It kind of reminds me of Duncan and the Spurs who gutted the NBA ratings because it'd be the fourth quarter and he had this unstoppable 14-foot bank shot. And that's kind of what the Thunder are. Their style of ball is just not, to me, the kind of basketball I want to see. I call it the Vince Carter scale.
Okay.
Vince Carter, the ultimate, and Tim Duncan is the exact opposite.
Okay. But Vince Carter had very little postseason success.
I know. But you asked me, I'm saying this is the kind of basketball I enjoy.
Wait, but hold on one second.
Yeah.
Because I just want to make sure, are we talking about you don't enjoy this basketball or this series has not given you moments yet? Because I think you're talking about moments.
No. The Spurs during their run, I'll be totally honest, they could have had the most dramatic moments of all time. I just didn't care because that was not entertaining basketball to watch.
Well, one of the most dramatic moments in the history of the finals did happen against the Spurs because that's when Ray Allen hit the shot in Game 6 in Miami. But there's a couple things that happened with the Spurs. Yes, they played a fundamental style. Yes, you had Tim Duncan, but Ginobili was exciting.
No.
Okay.
Vince Carter's exciting. Ginobili was
really
good. He was a sixth man. But Tim Duncan was the reason they won all those titles, and he was kind of boring style-wise. He was not, again, the Vince Carter versus Tim Duncan scale. He was still on the Tim Duncan side of this. Boring.
But okay.
To me, and to a big chunk of the basketball audience. Yeah, the hardcore NBA fans love this. I understand that, but I'm talking about, I'm not surprised, and I don't know the ratings, but I would be surprised if this had Michael Jordan style ratings. Obviously different. Different era. There are only 4 stations or whatever. I get it. But this is very much San Antonio Spurs in the 2-guard kind of body of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to me.
Okay, but if you're asking for Vince Carter, Vince Carter is one of the great in-game dunkers we've ever had.
Yes.
Right. He dunks over Frederick Weiss. That didn't happen in a finals.
No, I know. He never got to the finals. I'm very aware. Yeah, and that's why I think the NBA kind of lost its ratings over the last 10 years because we couldn't get a guy like that in the finals.
We have Anthony Edwards who can dunk like crazy, who just was in the Western Conference
I watched
finals.
last night. I did not see Anthony Edwards.
He's been back-to-back 2 Western Conference finals. He got beat. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't just usher him right into the finals because you want to see a good dunk.
Even he's not quite there because there's something a little bit off with Anthony Edwards.
25.
Yeah.
Give him a sec.
That's how I enjoy watching basketball to some extent. I love the chess match. It's incredible. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I'm like, I can't believe he just hit that shot. He just bounced off a guy 22 feet away from the basket and drained the jumper.
Yeah.
Total respect and admiration. But I was saying before the show, is there anyone in the series that you would really, really want to see in a slam dunk contest or a 3-point shooting contest. And you can say Obi Toppin won the slam dunk contest.
Yeah.
But again, I asked the question, is there anyone you really want to see in the slam dunk contest? No.
Okay, but that's an exhibition that's kind of...
Kids.
No, I know,
Yeah.
but what grows...
That's what I'm talking about.
But what grows the game more, the slam dunk competition or the finals?
By far the slam dunk competition.
But once a Gatorade commercial is more off the finals, I know Michael Jordan had both, but he's crossing over Russell. That's the finals. That you would say that's not is that a spectacular
I want a combo.
play?
I want a combo. I want both. And to think that Michael Jordan in the slam dunk contest did not grow the NBA would be a major, major mistake.
Wait, here's a question for you, because it was I get it was the 80s. So we just had last year. You had the finals. It was Boston and Dallas. Okay, and it was quick. And it was fast. It was a 5-game series, and it was exciting because of, I guess, Luka unexpectedly getting to the finals. But it was Boston's time. What's the last, you had the Nuggets and the Heat the year before. Again, fast. That was a gentleman's sweep, right? We didn't expect Miami to be there. Jimmy Butler ran out of gas. His father passed away. He had all these other things going on. It was a mess behind the scenes, and Jokic gets crowned. I'll give you Boston and Golden State.
Yeah,
that was a really good finals.
You need Curry.
Who was in-game dunking in that?
No, but if you can't get an in-game dunk, then give me a 3-pointer 10 feet behind the line. Curry's exciting too.
You hit all these threes last night, and you're like...
No, but they don't hit them like Curry. If you can't understand the difference between Steph Curry and Jalen Williams, then I don't know what game you're watching.
Okay, but there might be one Steph Curry ever, period.
Yeah, I know. That's what I want to see.
Well, he's going to be retired soon.
I know. And me and Adam Silver are upset about this fact.
I guess, I don't know. I think you're glossing over the fact that actual basketball games have to be played. Yeah. And yes, you do get the highlights of Steph logo threes, and you got Jordan dunks, but the Jordan shot over Craig Elo was not a dunk. The one over Russell's not a dunk.
But there's something spectacular about watching the way Michael Jordan played basketball, and Kobe, and LeBron, and Curry. I need that back. And here's the thing, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the other thing, we need a dynasty. We need OKC to go on a run. That's the other thing that can sort of attract casuals is a dynasty. It could be that too, that we're not familiar with these guys. You can't have a different champion. How many years in a row now?
I think it's 5.
That's a problem. I need something. Something's missing.
I'll agree with you that dynasties are good because you get a natural sort of people jump on bandwagons or they root against them, and that's really fun. But I think what the biggest thing, if you're saying, people who just casually watch basketball, I don't say casuals, I feel like that's pejorative. If you don't have time to watch 82 basketball games, that's not your fault. You tune in for the finals, that's awesome. There's no history between these two teams. That's the part of it, I think, that if they met again next year, I think we like this.
But I think it's funny because you seem to agree with me that the Spurs were not attractive to casual fans.
I understand what you're saying. I think we appreciated Tim Duncan at the time, but I just think it's an oversimplification because I was watching, this quote unquote boring team in the Spurs play against LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, which is the biggest star power you could possibly have in a final.
And God forbid, if you didn't get LeBron against the Spurs, and I'm sure the ratings were just awful.
But it was those, if you go back, actually, those games were blowout. So they didn't really help themselves because the actual games were bad. These games have been compelling and good. This is a 2-point game with 8 minutes left to go. This is, the Pacers win game 1, and all of a sudden they, take away the home court from OKC at the very beginning. This has been interesting. This is not the San Antonio Spurs sweeping LeBron James's first Cavs team.
Let me ask you a question. If you were going to text a buddy a highlight from last night's game to say this was the most exciting play, what would it be?
Well, I'm just saying.
Aaron Nesmith dunking over.
Well, give me one from the Thunder, the winning team.
Why? You just said take one from the game.
Well,
because you want
you can't take one from the game.
That tells the story of the game.
Yeah.
You want one that tells the story of the game.
I want one from the winning team. I mean, yeah.
I guess here's the thing.
And if you think Aaron Nesmith's a highlight player, then I feel sorry for you because he is not.
Well, don't tell the Knicks fans that because he hit 8 threes in a game and stole a game from them.
I mean, Aaron Nesmith, what? Okay. It's like, move over Kobe. Here comes Aaron Nesmith.
Was that not a highlight play? You just said, tell me a highlight.
Show me one from the Thunder.
They might not have one. That's fine. But I don't. But it was we're talking about these players as if in basketball like it's the Haley Circus or like it's gymnastics. Like I want to see a guy do 3 flips and jump off a trampoline. That's not the NBA Finals. That's not basketball.
Yeah, Pearl, this ain't NBA Jam, man.
Yeah,
Take Andrew Perloff out of this. I just think this is why the casual fans, to me, are not in it. I hear all these excuses that it's about politics, it's about market size. No, it's if you had a super exciting player or a super successful player, like if you had Steph Curry or LeBron or you had a Zion or somebody, then I think the ratings would be up. I think this is the San Antonio Spurs 2.0.
Yeah. What about the idea, though, that you tune in, it's a close game? Because I've thought about that. Do you need stars or do you need close games?
I'd like to see the numbers on that.
Well, because we'll bring back that San Antonio-Miami series when it was blowout, that all the stars in the world could have been there. If the game's a 25-point lead, then who cares?
I'll bet you the ratings were twice what they are for this one.
Well, maybe because LeBron, but I'm just saying,
they have LeBron.
But you actually tune into those games. How long are you sticking around for?
Well, I'm just saying,
have been close in the fourth quarter.
I hear you, but I think the answer is no. I don't think people tune in for that. I think they tune in for star power.
But at a certain point, we can't keep telling the fans that the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers don't matter for 82 games. And then when it comes to the NBA Finals, when they're the best teams, then you say, well, yeah, of course you're not watching because they don't matter. It's like, well, no, you told the people for 5 months that these teams didn't matter. Charles Barkley, like when we went on that rant about how the season is about the Oklahoma City Thunder and that's what we should be talking about, but we all want to talk about the Lakers. We all want to talk about LeBron James. We all want to talk about Steph Curry, guys and teams that actually didn't matter. That then affects the ratings because then when we get to the NBA Finals, people that have been following the NBA casually are like, I haven't heard anything about this Tyrese Halliburton on the Pacers. I haven't heard anything about the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know they're good, but people kept saying that they were kind of frauds and the NBA regular season doesn't matter. If you keep telling people over and over again that these other teams don't matter, these stars don't matter, we're still stuck in 2016, 2017,
right?
Then this is the result you get.
Well, but here's the counter to that, EJ. Like sports fans, do they really need to take their cues from Barkley? I understand how influential his voice is and just sort of the message sent about these two teams was that they're not OKC, but definitely Indiana, that they're like lucky to be here and they're the Cinderella team. Well, but does a sports fan, you can make up your own mind, right? Can't you watch the game and be like, you know what, this team's pretty damn good.
Do Caitlin Clark ratings high because somebody on ESPN told us to watch Caitlin Clark? No, everyone's passing around clips. I think to me, it's a. I understand. I totally agree with you, EJ.
If you put these same players and just change the laundry and put the Oklahoma City Thunder, put them in purple and gold. You put the Indiana Pacers, you put them in green and white.
Yeah.
You'd see an entire. This conversation wouldn't be happening.
I agree.
It would not be
by the way,
like
this
whole
I'm
thing
sure
about style of play. Kobe Bryant was old when he beat the Celtics. Paul Pierce was limping up and down the court with a bad knee.
Those were not the greatest finals. I agree with that.
Those were not up and down guys jumping over each other. This final is maybe not dunks, but it's up and down, fast-paced basketball.
But see, you just made the point, though, because that's another thing, right? The history of the Lakers Celtics is one of the most special things we have across all sports. Right? So, you got to go back and thank Jerry West and Bill Russell for stuff like that and how incredible that the framework was. It would definitely be better.
Listen,
these two teams have no history.
That being said, I'm sure the Celtics ratings were not good last year, and the Warriors Celtics, because it was coming off the pandemic, were not good either. So I don't think it's that laundry is going to sell you alone. I think you need a superstar. I think it's a star-driven thing. You need LeBron James. You need Steph Curry. You need something spectacular. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's style is workmanlike.
I got more thoughts on this. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Why Michael Jordan might actually be to blame for what we're watching now. I know it's going to seem like a stretch.
He's an idiot and a fool.
Follow me there.
I can't wait to hear this.
Have these games and has this finals been compelling? That's our question to you. 888-710-4ISN. The Mount Olympus of Maggie Perloff continues today. Guys, we're headed to South Beach. Whoa! Taking our talents to see who are the 4 sports gods from the city of Miami. Also, John Lynch talking to the media about the tough decisions that the 49ers had to make this offseason. But are they setting up for the big comeback? It's the Maggie Perloff Show. Let's go.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining.
Hold up, no seat in sight. Her chair is gone this quiet night. Odyssey's finest.
45 seconds remaining.
Now ain't his pacing, no place to slide. She scans the room, but it's just air. The burning question, who took my chair?
30 seconds remaining.
Was it Zach with his innocence there? Orion Hickey with his towering hair? It's not people like, he's never there. Somebody
15 seconds.
stole Amy's chair.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. The difference between me and I think the rest of the crew is very evident now. I care more about the slam dunk contest on Saturday night as a kid than Game 5 of the NBA Finals.
It's funny because you're actually the only person here who played basketball at even some kind of higher level. Like you played in college.
No.
And we feel like you would appreciate this more than anybody, but you only want to see like 360 in-game dunks.
So I was a bench warmer in high school and then played JV at Dartmouth, but it was closer to club. I have to be totally honest. Like there was no varsity coach being like, let's bring that 6'4", 163-pound guy up. No, it was closer. It was not what you think.
Guy, $1.63. Eat a burger.
I was basically Chet Holmgren. I was Chet Holmgren, but a 6'4" version of Chet Holmgren. So Chet Holmgren doesn't work at 6'4", Manny. But my style has always been, again, I'm going to do the Vince Carter versus Tim Duncan scale.
Not your playing style. Your preferred style.
Watching to play. Yeah. I was obsessed with watching Vince Carter games, whether he was in Toronto or New Jersey. That's the one guy I'd watch every night because you had to hold your breath to see what is he going to try to do. I just think that the Thunder are more of a mid-range attack, which is a little boring. Now, also, too, everything you guys have said is totally true. There's a lack of history, a lack of we haven't seen these teams yet. We don't know these teams. EJ said that's because of ESPN, but also the Thunder hasn't been in the finals since 2012, and the Pacers have never really been. They've been in the finals, so how would we know them? You need some history.
That's true. I have a thought on this, also, and why Michael Jordan might be to blame.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Jeff's in Minnesota, though, wants to talk about the Thunder side of things. What's up, Jeff?
Well, thank you, Maggie, and happy Halloween. I think this just turned into a horror show for the Pacers, considering Halliburton, what's been going on with him.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I absolutely think you have a beautiful mind because I agree with you wholeheartedly. This series is over.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say about the Thunder that not many people are talking about is that until 2031, they have 13 first-round picks. So could this be the start of a dynasty? And I just want to hear what you guys think. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. And Perloff, you called this weeks ago.
I'm torn on this because I was watching the finals last night. I'm like, oh, this is fun. I wonder what two teams are going to be here next year because I thought the Nuggets were going to be back for sure. I was like, oh, well, they'll be back. I thought the Celtics last year were going to win the title back-to-back. Something happened. And then I watched the Thunder. I'm like, well, logically, they should go on a massive championship run. But something funny is going on in the NBA where you see someone new every year.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be. They do have all that. Now, are they going to use that draft capital to trade for another superstar? If they win, why would they do that if they win the series?
It's going to be interesting because you don't want to like upset the apple cart, right? And you don't want to bringing in a superstar means bringing another personality and another ego and another, someone who needs 15 shots a night or whatever it is. It depends on the type of star. You got to be very careful that if you are going to start adding big pieces, like when the Warriors brought in Kevin Durant, right? And he signed in free agency, they didn't have to make a trade. It was like game, set, match. And it really was, but it was Haley's Comet, too, because it flew through the sky, and then they couldn't keep it together.
Yep.
Even a great coach like Steve Kerr, who manages egos, even a selfless superstar, a humble superstar like Steph Curry, even though he's the petty king, that would have been the perfect spot to absorb someone like Kevin Durant, and it only lasted a couple of years.
Well,
I'm the petty king.
He did blow out his Achilles and lost basically 2 years of his career.
Yeah, but he left. You have to go to Brooklyn with Kyrie Irving, as opposed to staying with Steph Curry and Clay and Draymond?
If they had beaten the Raptors that series, is there any chance that all goes down differently?
I mean, not if you read Ethan Strauss's book.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But
he and Kurt did not get along. He and Draymond didn't get along.
I'll take that. I'll take at least 2 in a row. Give me that. Give me something. I don't know if the Thunder team, as currently constituted, is good enough to repeat in today's NBA. Because you have the whole Western Conference gearing up to fight them, and that's another thing that happens in the NBA. Other teams watch you and be like, all right, we got to find a counter for Shai, a counter for Jalen Williams. It's hard. They look like a dynasty, but I don't know in these days. They do have a lot of journeymen playing major minutes. So I'm not sure they're not the 1986 Celtics or Lakers.
Sure.
So, I mean, listen, Hartenstein and TJ McConnell just was the best player on the court in the NBA Finals. So it's not like they're that good.
Yeah, but we are watching, between Shai and J-Dub and Jalen Williams. I mean, Richard Jefferson's talking about how he watched LeBron James and Kyrie Irving both score 40 in a finals game and comparing that to what he saw last night.
Right. How many did they win together?
Yeah, one. Here's my thing about why Michael Jordan might be to blame here. And I don't know if this is all Michael Jordan.
It
but
became personal with you.
Maybe part of the reason, Pearl, why you don't find this as compelling outside of just the mid-range gods that happen to be, patrolling the floor, is NBA has become so much about ring culture.
Yeah.
And the only thing that gets us up and our blood going and our blood boiling, if you will, is comparing guys to Michael Jordan or comparing them to LeBron James or comparing them to Steph Curry. And no one really fits in this series to compare to those guys, at least not right now.
But I don't understand. What's the downside with that?
Well, I'm just saying there's no in-between anymore. It's like you either are chasing Jordan's 6 rings or you are the worst person in the bottom of a shoe. And we do this a little bit with quarterbacks in the NFL also. It's like you don't even have a career if you don't win.
I don't understand. Is it the point to win a title?
It is, but it's like...
Do you think it used to be different? Like, wow, man, look at Brad Daugherty's career with the Cleveland Cavs. He was amazing. He got to the second round 3 out of 4 times. Why would that be interesting? Well, of course it's a ring culture. I thought the whole point of getting out there on the court every day was to win a championship.
You're right, but can I just say, I think that we have more respect for Charles Barkley, for Stockton and Malone, for guys who were great, Hall of Fame level, who never won. We have way more respect for those guys than we do James Harden and Russell Westbrook and other guys who are also going to the Hall of Fame, who are also great players in their own right. I don't think we respect them because they didn't win. Chris Paul, maybe Chris Paul, but not even Chris Paul, actually, because we'll talk about how many 3-1 series leads they blew and all this and that, as opposed to, I think we give a little more grace to the guys who played in the 80s and 90s who didn't win. Like we were just doing Sports Guys of Atlanta. Dominique Wilkins, not even a question, never got to the finals.
Yeah, but that's because he was so spectacular. He was a rare exception. Like we don't talk about Alex English and Adrian Dantley. Like we kind of talk about them as disappointing players. Again, Charles Barkley at least made it to Game 6 of the finals. Westbrook and Harden on teams that they led didn't really
they made it to the finals.
But teams that I know the 2012 Thunder, but when they were at their MVP level, they did not get to the finals.
So the Warriors were in the way. I mean,
but Barkley would have clearly won a title if Michael Jordan wasn't there, and so would Karl Malone, and so would probably Patrick Ewing.
Well, you could say Harden could have won if Steph Curry's not there. I mean,
but I mean Harden. And Harden does get a lot of respect. He's high up on all-time lists. I just think Harden's a different animal. You have to admit there's something way different about it. The Game 7 choke jobs, that's a thing.
No, I understand. He's come up small in big spots. But also, back then, did we know if we still respect Patrick Ewing? There's a couple stories about Patrick Ewing at the Gold Club in Atlanta that don't get nearly the play. Well, maybe they did then.
Patrick Ewing was awesome, though.
James Harden, do we know his jersey's retired in a strip club, almost making it seem like he doesn't care as much, I'm just saying, I think we give a lot more grace to the guys who didn't win back in the day as opposed to the guys now. And I think it's the ring culture. It's become everything. It's all there. It's what we have. It's what we like. And just comparing guys to retired dudes or guys who are almost retired is
now even
our jam.
Even if you have a ring, you get disrespect.
Like Giannis.
Giannis gets disrespect. Kevin Durant gets disrespect.
So that it's not ring culture.
No, it is ring culture because it's
on steroids.
Now it's so you only got 1 or you only got 2.
Or you joined the Warriors and joined a super team.
The way you got your championship was
bus
phony
rider.
because you were a bus rider.
Snitches get stitches.
It's totally warped. It's totally warped how we view this sport.
But I don't understand. It used to be because Michael Jordan. Nobody compares to Michael Jordan except LeBron. That's none of these guys are all good, but there's that lower level. But I think you need to really carry the sport. You need a star who is both exciting and wins a bunch of championships.
But Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing and Karl Malone, well, maybe I'll take Karl Malone out for other stuff. But those 2 guys, for example, they don't have haters. They don't have guys who run around saying, you know what, I know you guys think Patrick Ewing was good, but he actually was terrible because he didn't win a championship. Those guys don't have haters.
Yeah.
James Harden does. Russell Westbrook does.
Oh, because their play is
Chris Paul
obnoxious.
does. Well, that's my point, though.
Yeah.
You're saying that, you're saying their players are obnoxious.
They're so overrated because the media doesn't really understand what they're looking at. I always thought Russell Westbrook.
You're literally making my point.
I agree. I think why does everyone think Russell Westbrook is good? The dude can't shoot.
Right, but those other guys also had flaws that didn't allow them to win championships. Charles Barkley was fat most of his career.
Charles Barkley was 6'4" and led the NBA in rebounding. He's a monster. But that's the thing. Charles Barkley was an underdog. Russell Westbrook is a brick machine.
You don't see what happened? You're literally doing the thing I just said that people do. You're literally
I
doing
just
the same
think
thing.
that
Now it's Charles Barkley was 6'4" and was great. I'm like, yeah, he also had flaws. It was what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Like these guys can't win today. They can't.
Oh, I mean, you guys, listen, if you're going to die on the James Harden, Russell Westbrook mountain, then good luck.
I'm just saying the guys who didn't win today, it's almost like their careers don't matter, as opposed to the guys who didn't win back in the day. We still appreciate their careers, even though they didn't win either. 888-710-4ISN. The ring culture is just out of control. And again, I see this happening a little bit with with quarterbacks too in the NFL. Meanwhile, we have headlines to get to. We completely botched that, Bogusch, so our sincerest apologies.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you believe that or mean that.
I do.
Okay.
But we will hold on.
You just keep not getting me then, so you guys aren't learning your lesson.
Because we need Shohei Ohtani updates and all the other amazing things that you've got for us. Stay tuned and tell us if you think this is true about ring culture in the NBA. Has it gotten out of control? 888-710-4ISN. Whoop!
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie Perloff Show. Debating whether or not ring culture is kind of, I'll say, ruining our enjoyment of these NBA finals, but we're not comparing anybody to anyone. No one's chasing Jordan in this one. No one's chasing LeBron. No one's chasing Steph Curry because all these guys in this finals are new.
Well, I think also, too, I don't even understand this argument because now it's not just you have to win a ring. Now it's multiple rings.
Right, exactly. So blame Jordan even more.
But couldn't it be that we're not into these players because, they're just not as compelling as the all-time guys? I think again, it gets back to we do need to see a dynasty here. We can't have 14 years in a row with 14 different champions. That's going to get boring.
Let's get to Andrew Bogusch, who's got headlines for us. Last night was awesome. A lot of cool stuff going on.
All the headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Control-Alt-Delete, baby.
Last night might not have been awesome for those Pacers. They did flirt with their sixth 15-plus point rally of this postseason, cutting an 18-point hold down to 2 in the fourth of Game 5 of the Finals in OKC. But that was it this time.
Tries to the foul line. Gives it up. Right wing to Dubs. Slashing left away from Nembhard. Down the lane, high off the window. Sips home. A high arcing right-hand layup. Thunder 110. The Pacers 97. Is this young team something? Answering the call in Game 5.
Boring. Matt Pinto, Thunder Radio. Jalen Williams, a playoff career-high 40 points. Pearl could do that as OKC ran away for good to win 120-109, leaving them one win away from ending a title drought that dates back to Seattle.
Wow.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander throwing in 31 points.
They played in Seattle.
And 10 assists. He and J-Dub combining to make 22 free throws. Rick Carlisle says his Pacers made it way too easy for the Thunder.
We had 23 turnovers for 32 points. I mean, that's the game. So, we gotta do a heck of a lot better there.
During the decisive fourth quarter run, Indy gave the ball away on 4 straight possessions. The Pacers can fix that problem for Game 6 on Thursday, but maybe they can't fix what's ailing Tyrese Halliburton. It appears to be a right calf issue. He did not hit a shot last night, scoring only 4 points with 6 assists. Again, Game 6 in Indy on Thursday night. Two-way Shohei was back last night. Ohtani was the Dodgers opener, allowing one run, 2 hits in the first inning, throwing 28 pitches, and they drove in 2 runs in a 6-3 win over the Padres. Manager Dave Roberts, a little surprised Ohtani touched 100 in his first mound appearance in 21 months.
I was thinking 95 to 97, but I think that just a competitor adrenaline came out in him.
And there's also this. Ipe Mizuhara reported to a federal prison in Pennsylvania yesterday to begin serving his 57-month sentence for stealing just about $17 million from Shohei.
Oh, that's it?
We still don't know why Ipe's initial report date was pushed back from March to yesterday. And for a while, we weren't sure exactly where he is, but now we know where he is for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, he's going to be there for a while. And then it looks like after he's done with the federal prison sentence, it looks like he's going to get deported back to Japan because he's a Japanese citizen. And that generally happens if you go to jail for a major crime like that, then you get deported afterwards. And it's funny because I got obsessed with this story, Pearl, because 19,000 bets Ipe placed with a bookie over the course of 2 years and spent every waking moment with Shohei Ohtani. And Shohei said he had no idea that Ipe had ever placed a bet. He had no idea that he was addicted to gambling, which is terrible. disease that he has that I hope he gets cleaned up. But guys, no, nothing.
Wait, what? So what? Wait, what?
The 19,000 bets. Like, that's a lot of bets to make over 2 years.
Sounds like a guy with a gambling problem to me.
No kidding.
by the way, I'm like,
That's why I'm staying silent. 1-800-GAMBLER.
No.
eBay, I don't know what to tell you.
I know. Well, he obviously got himself way too deep here, and now he's in prison for it. But
I made about 11 bets last night. I was trying to live bet the Pacers because I thought they were coming back. So I'm like, all right, well, the odds are huge. I got to put like $3 on this.
well, if I find that somehow you've been siphoning off of my bank account, then we're going to have a big problem. But I just still can't believe that Shohei said he had no idea.
I always call Perloff the Maggie translator.
I think, a gambler is like a drug addict. Like they can hide a lot of things.
I know. I do hope for Ipe because, listen, I hope he does get help and that he doesn't battle this his whole life, this gambling addiction, which has cost him everything.
But isn't Ipe in prison?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I feel like you're talking about him like he's just like, he's a criminal.
No, I understand, but also he's an addict, so he's got to get right.
Yeah, I hear you. That's a great point. I should root for him in that sense, but he's a fraudster in a massive way.
I know. I was obsessed with this story, and now it's just really sad.
Oh, we know.
Well,
Is it definitely past tense? You keep saying I was obsessed.
Well, me and Bogusch were wondering.
Still invested.
Right?
Remember, Maggie was not following the Ipe is not reporting to jail story, which we thought was kind of juicy, and for some reason you missed that one.
Yeah.
And I still don't quite understand why it was so hard to get him to actually go to jail.
Well, obviously for Maggie, the luster has worn off.
Now they got caught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not as cool.
But actually,
get caught.
I would actually. That 19,000 number, I heard that. I'm like, oh, yeah, a gambling addict might be able to make that many bets. Are you saying that him?
Though, you said DraftKings. That's like, you're very easy. It's a touch of a button. He's got to actually text somebody.
Well, you're applying, but even that number is, if it's him and Shohei, like that's still a lot of bets for two people.
It's a lot of bets for a fraternity. I mean, I just want, and listen, I want to give Shohei a little grace because he's not speaking his first language, but he did this press conference in Japanese and then it was translated. But again, through translation, obviously we realize how problematic that can be. No clue. Like even if your friend is a drug addict, alcoholic, whatever, don't you have some kind of an inkling? Shohei says he never knew that Ipe was, and no bets, that he was placing any bets.
Well, I mean, this guy was a high level fraud. I mean, he was a con artist.
Yeah, he was. Right. No, I know.
And I've been fooled by many con artists.
Yeah, and I feel like I could miss somebody making 19,000 bets. The missing $17 million is the thing that.
Oh, see, that to me is way more believable.
Yeah,
wow. Shohei's got that much money.
And also, a lot of those athletes are very busy. This guy, especially, he's pitching and hitting. You think he has time to watch his bank account?
Well, 17. No, and I've never. I do not share in the conspiracy theory. I think what happened is what happened.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for what's the alarm bell that should go off, the missing money should come before 19,000 thumb clicks from your buddy.
I do get it, but don't got to remember this detail. Ipe was such a good con artist, as Perloff is saying, that he convinced Shohei's agency, I think it's CAA, I can't remember, to put the checks into a different bank account that Shohei never saw.
And I mean, we were the ones, I think one of us was one of those guys on there was really confused about the banking part of it.
Yeah.
And so then we talked about that. I'm just ranking alarm bells.
Oh.
I think the missing money is if you're wondering how he didn't know, I would have focused on the missing money, not the amount of bets that Ipe made.
Yeah, no, that's fair. 17 million is a lot to be missing.
Bunch of red flags. Right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Ipe gets his life straightened.
I mean, Maggie, I hate to put you on the spot. I feel like you're implying Shohei knew a lot. So do you think do you actually think it's still a possibility that Shohei was actually making the bets?
I've let go of the idea that Shohei was making the bets because that seems slanderous. He never has been connected to that. Again, I'll just say, I can't believe that someone you spent every waking moment with. Mookie bets that he sees Shohei Ohtani for 5 minutes before every game. They're not close. But Ipe was doing everything for Ohtani. They spent all that time together, and you have no idea that person is placing bets. I know what my best friend is up to.
But you wouldn't know what your
You have
best
no
friend
idea what the four people you're looking at right now. You
Yes.
have no idea what best safe plays.
But I don't drive to the show with everyone here. We don't hang out. We hang out during the show, but I don't drive home with you. You guys don't have access to my bank accounts, although I said I'd give Manny all of my information. You can be my emergency contact.
She's full of horse manure.
But I don't. We work together, but we're not as tight as Ipe and
No, but they
Shohei.
also weren't. They
I
weren't
see what you're saying.
spooning at night, and they weren't using like the love toilet from SNL. Like they were separate at times.
Not that much.
They weren't like locking arms and like Lady and the Tramp and spaghetti like they did.
But they're also traveling with each other 6 months out of the year.
Yeah, the other 6 months when he was betting.
Maybe he knew he was betting, but not how much.
He said he didn't know. I just find it hard to believe. Anyway, that's just me. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. John Lynch talking about the 49ers and some of the painful goodbyes they had to say this offseason, but is it all for the better? Get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Got a question for my co-host, Andrew Perloff. After you saw Shohei Ohtani pitch an inning last night, touching 100 on the gun.
Yeah.
Yes, he did give up a run, but then he made up for it in the, what was it, second inning or third inning when he drove in a run, so he got himself at least avoided the loss. Are you okay with him now trying to do both? Because you've been so adamant, but he was fine last night. He pitched, he touched 100 on the gun, he drove in 3 runs, like he was fine.
I am more than okay with it. I am thrilled about it. And I will tell you why, because I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan, and I worry about the Dodgers in the postseason. And now they have their best player who's had 2 elbow surgeries on the mound, who was hurt last year in the playoffs. I don't think he can last. I think he's going to get hurt.
How many surgeries, Pearl?
2 elbows, right?
Whoa.
Well, okay, it's a lot of elbow surgeries. I understand that. It's
yeah,
not
it's just
ideal.
like, that's not the guy I put on. I think it's an injury risk. And I think what happens in all of pro sports right now is guys wear down because, first of all, Shohei's throwing the ball so fast. He hit 100 last night, right?
He did.
And
so the adrenaline was
he is
got to
the
him.
single best hitter in the game of baseball. Why would you risk that? He's Babe Ruth. He's about to win his 4th MVP in 5 years. I don't know why you would risk that. To me, I always look at the health because who wins the World Series? A team that is healthy, and I worry about that.
Well, they won the World Series last year, to be fair, with Shohei hurt
holding
and Freddie Freeman also hurt, and their pitching staff still hurt.
I'll take that hurt Freddie Freeman, by the way. That worked out okay.
Yeah, no, he was unbelievable in that World Series. I think that sometimes you've got to let I don't want to say the story play out, but it's like you have a guy who has this incredible talent. I don't think he would have signed with a team who wasn't going to allow him to do this, right? I think that was a stipulation of his free agency when he went from New York to Toronto. Who else was he flirting with? San Francisco. Finally signs with the Dodgers. Not that shocking, but there had to have been an understanding. You're not going to tell me that I'm only going to, be able to hit. He wants to be able to pitch. He's going for something that's even bigger, which is the immortality. He would walk into the Hall of Fame right now. He has won the World Series. He's multiple MVP. There's like a different plane that he's trying to get to. Now, you might think that's being selfish, actually, because
I think
what's bigger than winning a World Series? But I think for Shohei, there is something bigger.
I find him fascinating as a hitter. I think he's already in that plane. I think he would go down as the greatest hitter of his era.
That's not enough.
Yeah,
Clearly.
but honestly, I think as it turns out, he won't go down as the greatest hitter of his generation because he's going to shortcut it to pitch.
And I'm going to tell you that he's going to get a lot of critics if this plays out the way that you think, right? Which is going to be a little more doomsday, a little bit more, hey, what could have been if you had just, dialed it back a little bit.
Could have been Babe Ruth.
I think that he's going to get criticism then because there are going to be people who say, well, why were you flying this close to the sun? Why did you need more and more and more? And why couldn't you just, be the best hitter in baseball or one of them and, hopefully win a lot of World Series if you're a Dodgers fan and have that be it. And he's not doing it. I'm telling you, if you're right, this story will turn on Shohei.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean,
And that's going to be silly to me because I don't know why you'd hold a guy back from wanting to do something that we haven't seen in 100 years.
One thing is they have clearly improved whatever that Tommy John thing. Because Bryce Harper has also had the same thing, and he keeps on getting back out there. So maybe you can blow out your elbow and still hit at an MVP level, Shohei. So maybe medical science helps him out here. But I'd be fine if he never pitched again and just won 10 MVPs and broke every record and won 6 World Series. Like, he'd be the all-time. He is the player of this generation already, even more than Aaron Judge. I know Aaron Judge is his competition in this case, but Shohei's much more fascinating to me. It's just crazy. This guy's so big. He dominates the strike zone. You can't throw it anywhere near there. I think he's the closest thing to Babe Ruth. He's really, well, Barry Bonds was, but Barry Bonds was cheating. He's like Barry Bonds without the steroids.
Yeah. We were talking a lot about ring culture, right, earlier in the show, and about in the NBA now, it's all not just can you win a ring. You're nothing if you don't win a ring, right? How dare you not win a ring? But also, how many? Now just one's not enough, right? Well, if you're Giannis, one's not enough. If you're Jokic, one's not enough because your talent is so great. You should be winning more, in our opinion.
That's your opinion,
no.
Because I would counter, if it's ring culture, now it's multiple ring culture.
Yes.
Those guys want a ring and people don't care about them.
Exactly. So it's like ring culture.
So it's not ring culture, it's the player.
No, it's accelerated. It's like ring plus.
No, I think I don't think the ring even a ring cannot make some of these players fascinating in the big picture to people.
Right. Jason Tatum would be another one, right?
Yeah,
it's like one's not enough for these guys. But here's the thing. I think in baseball, it is, right? You're Shohei. You won your ring.
It's because he's Shohei. He was already the most fascinating player in baseball when he was in Anaheim.
Right. And because he won that first ring with the Dodgers, no one's going to say, oh, this was disappointment. It was a bad contract. It was whatever. I think just winning one World Series has now given Shohei permission to reach heights that we haven't seen, right? Now it's not about how many are you going to win for the Dodgers. I don't know if people even care about that. Do you care about how many?
Right, because it's not ring culture, because it's Shohei.
It's different in this sport is what I'm saying. So to hold him back and to say he should only be hitting, which is what you want him to do, I don't think actually adds to his legacy. He could win 5 World Series. It's not going to do as much as the hitting and the pitching combined, is what I'm saying. For his legacy, he could win 3 World Series with the Dodgers. Let's do something realistic. 5. This is not, the 1920s and 30s anymore. 40s. Let's win 3. Right? 3 would be unbelievable.
I don't think for baseball we care as much. I think if he won 10 MVPs as a hitter, 10, I think would be the record, and I think he could do it. I think that would put him in a level that is so far above everybody else.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to
argue with that, but I'm saying
I don't think
nothing...
you're right. I don't think the rings really matter when it comes to Shohei because again, he was the most fascinating player in the sport when he was in Anaheim, not even making the playoffs. I think because of the pitching, I'll give you that. But I think if he could just be a hitter, I think he could be the modern Babe Ruth.
Yeah, I think he's already. I don't know what he thinks. To me, it seems like he got the ring. There's no reason for him now not to go full, to the wall and try to pitch and hit and do as much as humanly possible. What's the second World Series? It doesn't. There's nothing that's going to impact his legacy like the pitching and hitting together.
But I fear that it'll gut the MVP thing, which is crazy right now. He won in 21, 23, 24. His numbers, I think he has a great chance at 25. That's going to all go away if he gets hurt pitching.
Let's go to the phones. 888-710-4ISN. George is our pal in L.A. George, you're watching Ohtani on the mound last night and thinking what?
Yeah, I was very impressed throwing 100 miles an hour. I know he was hyped up and everything. But see, the thing is right now, you guys, the Dodgers are getting 2 starting pitchers back, and Shohei is not going to pitch every 5 days. It'll probably be every once a week or something like that just to appease him. But he's still going to be a great hitter, and I think he'll be okay. But I was going to talk to you about that gambling thing. I don't think Shohei knew anything about it because he's so busy and he's very trusting. And the Dodgers made a fortune because the Japanese tourists there, 50% of all the tourists come to Dodger games, and they more than made that money back on tourism with Japan.
Sure.
Just a pretty amazing story. But thanks, guys.
Yeah, George, the Ipe Mizuhara, we were talking about Shohei's interpreter who was a gambling addict and who was stole $17 million from Shohei, reported to federal prison yesterday. So that's why that story is back in the news. It was 19,000 bets that he placed over 2 years with a bookie in California. And Shohei said he had no idea that his friend was gambling. It's like, wow, that's a lot of bets to have any idea that he was gambling. But we'll leave it there. Rich is in California. Rich, what do you think about Shohei? Does the legacy only grow if he pitches and hits, or does he need to win 5 World Series?
I'm not so sure that he's not getting rushed to pitch because the Dodger starting pitching staff, is in a shambles. They spent a lot of money, and they literally have little or nothing to show. Also, this weekend, the Giants picked up Rafael Devers, which basically sends a little message that, oh, guess what, guys? There's somebody else that's getting invited to the party here. And with left-handed hitting, especially at Oracle Park, it makes it very, very interesting. Point being, I'm not sure that the Dodgers aren't going to find out how terribly difficult it is to repeat as a World Series champion.
Well, yeah.
And should they, by chance, sacrifice Mr. Ohtani's arm as an attempt to do that, they paid the money, so I guess they get to do that. Not Rich, the smartest thing I've ever seen.
You know, it's funny, you bring this up, and thank you for the call, because about are they rushing Ohtani back? And, Perloff, I always have like my eyebrow raised on anything that comes from a team or anyone really. I'm just
if the owner gets involved, that ain't good.
No, I'm just skeptical about everything. It's the capital J journalist in me won't die on that part. But when the Dodgers said that Ohtani didn't like doing the simulated games because he had to ramp up and then cool down and then get ready to play the game, I bought that hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, I don't think they're rushing him back. I think he really just doesn't like the disruption in his routine. He's this crazy creature of habit, and he'd rather just pitch the game. Now, what ends up happening and why they have to be careful here with the rest of the staff is Ohtani obviously doesn't go 5 innings. He only can be an opener, so you essentially have to do a bullpen game after that. So you do have to be aware of, with all the other injuries to the Dodgers rotation, how are you managing the rest of the staff? Because Ohtani only pitches 1 or 2 innings right now.
Well, the thing is, those simulated games, he was throwing full speed. Mm-hmm. So I get that. Like, I kind of buy that the simulated games are, what's the point of doing that if you're not going to pitch because you're wearing down the elbow the same way? The pitches he was throwing in those simulated games were nasty. I was like, why are you doing that to your teammates? So I kind of bought that thing, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I don't see any big, like, oh gosh, the Devers trade happened. We got to get Shohei back on the mound. He's been ramping up for this. They would never make that kind of rash decision based on what another team does. And I think Ohtani has told him, I'm pitching. And I think he believes it's because he is going for even more than just World Series and MVPs.
Also, if you're that good at pitching, I mean, he's that good, you probably want to pitch. Like, imagine you're so good at the skill, you want to get out there. But I would try to, and I know it wouldn't be popular, I would protect him from himself. That's just a lot on the human body the way he throws. I mean, come on. You think he can? Nobody lasts. I'm thinking of your guy, Jacob deGrom. Like, you can't be that nasty and last in the Major League Baseball.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. You're watching Ohtani last night, and you're thinking, what? I'm thinking excited. I just want to see it. I'm not thinking about the team I'm rooting for. I'm thinking we're watching something unbelievable. Perloff's not entertained by the NBA Finals. This is entertaining. Like, I had to make sure I watched every single pitch that Shohei threw last night.
You guys keep saying I'm not entertained by the NBA Finals. I just want to say I find it very entertaining, but I am not surprised at all that it's going to have record low ratings because I can't imagine what a casual fan would see in this. Again,
great basketball?
Yeah, but that's not what casual fans, they want to see, like, oh, that's a well-executed pick and roll / 14-foot jumper. They want spectacular and eyes wide open, something they've never seen before. This is more of a hardcore basketball fan kind of series, like an X's and O's series. People want to see Michael Jordan fly. They want to see LeBron. Like, that is not the series. I was saying to you in the break, baseball's got that now with Shohei and Judge. They have these superstars doing something you've never, ever seen in your life. That being said, it's baseball, so probably we'll get, like, the Rays will win the World Series or something crazy because, nothing ever follows the plot there.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Are the Dodgers making a mistake by allowing Shohei to pitch? That is the question for you today. And we've got a lot more, including the door apparently not shut on a coach and a team. Could be getting together. And also John Lynch. We'll get to the general manager of the San Francisco 49ers and what he had to say about some painful goodbyes from the offseason. But will the team be better off for it? 7P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Andy's wheels, Ryan's hair is high and proud, but he swears he's innocent. Yelling out loud, I got no motive, I'm just tall. His hair almost scrapes the studio wall, but Amy's still standing. No time for lies. Someone's gonna pay no more alibis. No stole Amy's chair. Was it Zach Gel with his innocent stare? Or Ryan Hickey with his towering hair? It's not people lying, he's never there. Somebody fess up, who stole Amy's chair? The chair is gone, Amy's on fire. Infinity Sports has one desire: return the throne before the show, or Amy's wrath will surely glow. Who stole Amy's chair? Zach and Ryan, do you even care? Is it hidden under Hickey's hair? Or maybe Gub's got it, he swears, I swear. It's not Pete Bellotti, he's still not there. Somebody fess up, who stole Amy's chair? So if you see a chair on the go, rolling around on some late night show called Infinity Odyssey 2, Amy's coming and she's looking for you.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Okay. Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. Quick assignment / trivia question. They mentioned something last night about sort of the varied background of all the players. A lot of G Leaguers, a lot of second-round picks.
From the NBA Finals.
From the NBA Finals, for the Thunder and Pacers. Real quick, I did my math, and I might have missed somebody, and I apologize. I see 3 top 10 picks on both teams combined. Whereas when I was a kid, it was the Lakers and Celtics. Everyone was a number 1 pick throughout both the top 3 pick. Now there's 3 top 10 picks. Name them off the top of your head. Boom, go.
Obi Toppin's a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
Ford. Damn it. Where'd Obi go?
Come on, man.
He went to the Knicks. He was like 7 or something.
Out of Dayton. Yeah, 8.
Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, Chet is one.
What was Shai?
Shai's not
Shai
a
is
top 10 pick. He's
outside
11, I believe.
Yeah, he's
11 or 12.
11. Okay.
Yeah.
Thinking.
Jalen Williams?
Nope.
Tyrese Halliburton was out. Was Tyrese Halliburton outside?
Yeah,
yes,
he was outside.
He was outside top 10.
Yeah, it's funny to me. All these guys, everyone you mentioned, were like 11, 12, 13.
Johnny Furphy. No.
So Benedict Mathurin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Ben Mathurin.
You guys said Chet, and then I think Kasey Wallace was 10. So
right.
But anyway, it's interesting. This is the NBA these days. You can't stack a bunch of number 1 picks like the Bulls had. All top 10 picks up and down their roster. So it's interesting to me. Like, I'm trying to evaluate, are the Thunder really going to be a dynasty? I'm not quite sure they're loaded enough.
But haven't we gotten past their draft? Like, where
Well,
their
I mean, there are
draft
a lot of
position
guys
is at this point?
But you look at the players, I'm like, oh, that guy's okay. Kasey Wallace is okay. They're not dominant players up and down the roster. They're sort of like kind of high end role players.
Yeah, but Wallace or like a Caruso, those guys are like a 6th or 7th man on the team. Like if you got the MVP and you got Jalen Williams, who's an all-star, like and Chet's a top 3 pick. That's it. He's their 3rd best player.
Well, it's funny. I think Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are kind of underdrafted. Like these people didn't understand. They're not traditional superstars. I think that's a lot of what's going in the mix. Then again, like, is Jalen Williams really like that great? I have no idea. I can't tell.
He scored 40 points last night. I think he is that good.
I mean, is he an
all-time?
all-time?
One went away from a champion.
Is he an all-time great player?
Well, I saw that Brian Windhorst was saying that there are people around the league who are looking at Jalen Williams feeling like this could be the next Scottie Pippen.
Why would they do that?
Like we're watching like a elite level second option.
Is he a top 5 player in the NBA?
No, but I mean, Scottie wasn't top 5 for most of his career. Maybe at points he was a top 5 player most of his career.
Most importantly, now he's one of the 75 best players, no doubt.
Yeah, but like I mean, Scottie was probably top 10-ish probably when he was playing, when he was in his prime. So I think Jalen Williams is only 24 years old. That's the thing about the Thunder that are dangerous is that we're judging these guys at where they are now. Maybe we want to say SGA's in his prime, but like Chet and Jalen have not come close to their final form, and that's scary for the rest of the NBA.
I mean, honestly, would you have not said the same thing about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown last year and Derek White? And I know some of the other guys were older, but I kind of, would you have not said the same thing about Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray? Would you have not said the same thing about Giannis and Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday? Like, I just think the NBA is funny. It's a lot of parity right now. And I know you guys are jumping on everything I'm saying here, but I do think like there's a good chance we'll see a new champion next year.
Totally possible. And we've also been promised this incredible offseason, right? Where everyone's going to get shaken up like we're playing dice or something in the bathroom. That's what we're told. We already saw the big Desmond Bane move. So that's one piece that leaves Memphis and goes to Orlando. I don't know if there's going to be anyone else behind it. The Grizzlies are now saying Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. are actually not available, but we'll see. Meanwhile, here's Kevin Durant, and we'll get to the 49ers a little bit, but Kevin Durant, who we believe is getting traded imminently. I mean, that's how it's getting put. I don't know if they'll wait till the finals are over, Pearl, but getting traded imminently. We thought it was going to be Minnesota. All of a sudden, it's off the table because Durant apparently didn't want to go to Minnesota. I don't know why you wouldn't.
Cold weather?
But that's ridiculous. You play inside. Who cares?
Maybe you got to live the rest of your life. Basketball's only 2 hours, Maggie.
I actually floated an idea to EJ the other day that maybe he doesn't want to be the number 2 scorer because the teams that he's looking at, he could be the number one scorer on all three of those teams. But what's he like? San Antonio, Houston, and Miami.
And Miami, yeah.
Miami's
definitely two of the three. Maybe San Antonio's close, but
See, I think
a good chance he could be in San Antonio.
I think he would be over Wemby. I think Wemby would take a secondary role to him. I think he'd go to Minnesota and he'd have to be the B immediately. Like, you have to prop up Anthony Edwards.
He's 38.
But he
36, 38, 36, pardon me.
He's not
36.
thinking that way. He's clearly wants to be the 1A.
And he did average, 26 points this season?
No,
Why would he have Miami on the list otherwise, Maggie? Like,
weather. This is a weather
No,
thing.
Pat Riley.
I'm all in on the weather.
agree.
You got to plug your
Weather.
car in at Minnesota at night so those, like, the batteries don't freeze and explode. No thank you.
Yeah, NBA players call it Minnesota, man.
Right, no thanks.
But are you trying to win here and end your career in a high note? Or are you trying to go to South Beach and retire?
I think that plan B, Maggie.
Yeah.
I
South
think
Beach
that's
and
the thing.
retire.
Or
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle.
there's not a team in Boca that we can put together for him? Does he have to even go to South Beach?
The
If he
FAU
could be a
Owls.
bus rider on that team, trust me, Maggie, he'd start it tomorrow.
So, okay, if it's a weather, why did he not want to go? He reportedly shot down the Warriors, right? He said, I don't want to go back to
I
Golden
think
State.
he has static with just that whole community.
Yeah.
And
I
I've
think
seen,
Kerr and Draymond, too. Like, no matter what they say now could be water under the bridge. I think that takes 5 seconds for those old scabs to get peeled off.
also now reportedly the Clippers are in the mix too, and he doesn't seem super interested in them.
They're the Clippers.
Well, I mean,
gonna play
they're the
with Harden
Clippers. What's
again?
wrong with that?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen them say that he doesn't want to be there. They're just not
Yeah.
on this list. I think he'd be fine going to LA.
And the Knicks said no thank you.
Yeah, and Knicks didn't want him. So.
Okay, can I read you something?
Oh,
that
that's cold.
Yeah, it's freezing here.
Yeah, but I mean, it's New York. It's still.
I hear you.
It's still. I know his.
But that also was
He already
them,
lived
right?
here.
No, that was also the Knicks
Yeah,
said
the Knicks
no
said
to that,
no.
not
Knicks
him.
said no to him. Yeah, I mean, Rich Kleiman also is from New York, and he's got business ties here. I can see why he would want to be.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Brooklyn that went so well.
And it's not as cold as Minnesota.
No, for
Fair.
sure.
Okay, Zesty Cat is our favorite.
Zesty Cat would know about the weather in Minnesota.
Yeah, he could give him some pointers.
No, for sure.
What kind of weather coat to buy? So I saw this from The Athletic, which I thought was
Ask
interesting.
Keon Coleman about the weather coast, by the way.
Listen, he played college football at Michigan State. He was the perfect draft pick for
gotta
the
get-
Bills. Now he just has to step it up a
Got to
little.
get those winter jackets in the summer, though.
He
That's the key.
knows.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Keon Coleman,
20%
by the
off.
way, gone viral this week.
I
Yeah.
saw you went viral.
Crazy.
I'm trying to get him on the show, but you guys have been ignoring it in my rundowns.
No, we'll get him in.
What you mean?
Okay, so enough. Okay, back to Durant for a second. Can I just read you something that I read on The Athletic, and I'm curious, Pearl, if you feel the same way about Kevin Durant as what this is 3 different reporters all coming together to write this big thing about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant deserves a good final chapter.
Okay.
The 36-year-old all-time great who's widely expected to be traded from the Phoenix Suns soon, who spent so much of these past 6 NBA seasons dealing with adversity not of his own doing, deserves to spend these twilight years in a place where his extraordinary skills are utilized to the max and his prospects of deep playoff runs are realistic. Is anyone else thinking about Kevin Durant that way besides the 3 people who combined to write this article?
I actually was thinking about when we were just talking about this. I want to see him go to the Clippers. And I'll tell you why. Because you can concentrate James Harden, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook's a free agent, get them there, and you would literally have the most unlikable team in NBA history. The number one, and Kawhi.
Sounds like the 2012 Thunder.
Yeah, you could, but a very old version of it. You
It's
could
like
have
reuniting the band.
probably
like those guys.
that would be the most unlikable. I think Westbrook's probably the most unlikable player, or no, Harden's the most unlikable player. Westbrook's 2, Durant's 3rd. Put them all together and then have Kawhi play 16 games and boom, it's a magic formula. No, I don't think that at all that he deserves any of that.
It's so funny. I'm like, he spent the last 6 NBA seasons dealing with adversity not of his own doing. I'm sorry, was someone holding the water gun to his stomach to make him go to the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving? Whoever thought that was what?
I was into that. I didn't know
Good
it wasn't
luck.
going to work.
Well,
I mean, yeah, obviously.
he left the Warriors for that.
Yeah, I kind of understood that. Because I did think he was a bust driver. I never thought he should have gone to the Warriors. I'm one of those guys. Like, you don't go to the team that just won 73 games. That was lame. Not to relitigate that, but I'm in the very common camp of KD made a bad choice 8 years ago. Is still chasing it.
I agree.
It's possible, but I don't know. The idea that they went to Brooklyn though is maybe I'm just doing the revisionist thing.
That could have worked theoretically. I don't know. It's not the worst dream
Okay,
team I've ever
who
seen.
got Kenny Atkinson fired?
Kevin Durant.
Who
Right.
got Steve Nash there
Kevin
and then
Durant.
out?
Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then who decided that they would only play for the Phoenix Suns and would not accept a trade anywhere else except for Phoenix.
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
Wait,
Kevin Durant.
I feel like I'm back in math class.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Did that really happen? I
Yes.
lost all track. I don't even.
It was
I
the
don't
week of
think
the
I've ever
Super
even
Bowl
seen
when we
KD
were in
play
Phoenix.
Yeah, it was Phoenix or Miami. He want no one else.
He wanted no one else, so he demanded a trade only to go to Phoenix, and then all of a sudden got there, and it's the worst situation in the NBA. I'm sorry, Kevin Durant, all of this is his own doing. Every single one of it. So he deserve the twilight years. Yeah, he's still a great player, don't get me wrong, but would deserve whoever deserves anything. I have no sympathy for men like Kevin Durant.
You know who loves Kevin Durant much more, I think, than the public is the players love Kevin Durant. Like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander worships Durant. Like
They
these
should.
guys all
He's a
love
great player.
Durant. But the public agrees with what you were just saying. Like he's made every possible wrong career choice. And also he's obnoxious on social media.
Well, he's doing that on purpose. I
Well,
just
it's
think
obnoxious.
Who
It's
could
like-
ever say deserve when you have this much agency over your own career? Like guys don't the regular athlete, like even some all-time greats, don't have this much control like this current crop of superstars who are living in the player empowerment era. And you blew it. So it's not the rest of the league's responsibility to find you this amazing landing spot so that you can have this awesome farewell. That is nobody's responsibility. Durant had all the power over his own career, and he made bad choices. Live with it.
Who are you yelling at? I mean, does anybody think that the athletic
Athletic.
writer?
Yeah.
They are
And my
so out of touch with
$75
America.
a year I pay for it.
Yeah.
No, I love those guys over there.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, I kind of want him, though, in a relevant spot. All that being said, and I agree with 98% of it, I still wouldn't mind him on the Rockets or the T-Wolves or the Spurs playing a big role in big minutes in a team that could win the West.
I know, but it's not the Suns' responsibility to do that for him. He chose the Suns.
Yeah, sure.
They need to get the best possible return. And if that's someplace that is too cold, even though you play basketball in the North America during the winter, I'm sorry if it's too cold.
Yeah, I don't think the T-Wolves have the motivation to do this or the pieces to do it anyway. So, but like, and I agree.
If it's Toronto,
if the Raptors,
you
exactly,
gotta do it.
Sure,
Right.
sure. But I would like, me personally as a basketball fan, I'd like to see Kevin Durant one more time in a useful situation.
But then he shouldn't be putting Miami on his list and saying he doesn't want to go to the T-Wolves.
There's also that.
That's where he loses me. Because I agree. I think watching Kevin Durant play in the Olympics, it was a reminder like, oh, crap. Like, that guy with, like, a real good infrastructure, like, could still be very dangerous.
For the dream team.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone looks good on that team.
12 other
just like
All-Stars.
which is just like what he had with the Warriors, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, hey, if he went somewhere and he was like the third option somewhere, he'd be amazing. But like
He doesn't want to be.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want that. So I can't ask for something that he doesn't want. He just wants to go out there, run up for 35 minutes, score 27 points, have no issues, no complaints, no responsibilities, and go home.
And be warm.
Right.
I also read by
Did not need a
Fine, But
jacket.
then you can't also say that my career suggests I deserve more. It doesn't, because you're telling yourself by saying I want to go to Miami, who is in a complete rebuild. That's unserious.
I've seen the reports that nobody wants him, and he's going to have to settle for Miami or Toronto, a non-contender, because I'm sure Minnesota's like, please take my distressed assets for Kevin Durant. I'm sure they tried to get that Gobert contract out, and I'm sure that other teams, Houston's going to try and get Jalen Green off their books to him. I'm positive, like nobody. I don't think Durant is that valuable to the NBA because he's 36, and I think he'll gut the Rockets or the Spurs. I don't know how, but this will end up bad. I think that's how the NBA views him, closer to what I view him as. He'll be injured when it matters. He'll kind of kill the chemistry.
It's also $50 million, and then he wants another $2
He wants
$100
$2 million.
million.
Like the NBA is like, no thanks.
Right.
I think Toronto's in play, and he'll just sort of peter out his career. And unfortunately, Bogusch, you will not get him in a contender.
I know.
Let's get to. Oh, sorry.
2 years for $100 million at 38, 39 for Kevin Durant, who's been hurt so much.
I mean, your Sixers literally just gave this to Paul George. No one thought that was a good idea the moment Penn went to paper.
And he was 35.
Yeah. You can't do it. You cannot do it. And
I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah, no,
he is 35. You're right.
And when I saw that, they said that an extension has to come with a trade. I was like, well, no wonder the Knicks or all these other teams aren't in on this.
Yeah. No, I meant he's 2 years younger than Durant. Saying like, actually, when he signed, he was 34. So he's almost 3 years younger than Durant. And that was an awful deal. So Durant, you can't do this. If I'm Houston or San Antonio, I'm like, take my bad contracts, but I'm not giving up anything good for you.
I agree. Let's get to Bogusch. He's got headlines. What's up?
Well, he might not have dunked enough for your liking, but Jalen Williams still played a remarkable Game 5 last night in OKC.
Ducking left to the foul line. Twirling and fading the one-legged 16-footer. Nothing but net. Dubs got 40. Dubs got 40.
Matt Pinto on Thunder Radio. Jalen Williams, a playoff career-high 40 points, leading OKC to a 120-109 decision over the Pacers in your pivotal Game 5. When the finals are 2-2, the Game 5 winner wins the title 74% of the time. So head coach Mark Daigneault, very appreciative of J-Dub's efforts.
That was an unbelievable performance by him, just throughout the whole game. I mean, he really was on the gas the entire night.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander chipping in with 31 points and 10 assists the game after having 0. Aaron Wiggins and Kason Wallace combining for 25 off the Thunder bench. The Pacers, meanwhile, return home with a limping Tyrese Halliburton. The right calf is the issue. The two-voiced all-star missing all 6 shots he took. Scored just 4 points last night. His head coach, Rick Carlisle.
I don't think he's going to miss the next game. And, we were concerned at halftime. And he insisted on playing. And I thought he made a lot of really good things happen in the second half. But he's not 100%.
And he probably won't be by Game 6 on Thursday night. Shohei Ohtani averaged 96.8 miles an hour over 28 pitches in his return to the mound. He allowed a sac fly in the first inning, then drove in 2 runs in a 6-3 Dodger win over the Padres. The Red Sox won their first game after trading Rafael Devers 2-0 in Seattle. The Angels got a 1-0 win in 11 at Yankee Stadium.
Awful.
And the Rays took care of the O's 7-1. Tampa Bay now 19-6 over its last 25 games.
That was great.
History yesterday afternoon at the Men's College World Series.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Wood deals. Swung on and missed. It's a no-hitter.
My dog.
Helfrich grabs Wood. His teammates surround him. Everybody storming out of the bullpen. The 3rd no-hitter in College World Series history is pitched by Arkansas's Gage Wood.
And that's how it sounded on Westwood 1. Gage Wood was actually perfect into the 8th inning until he hit a batter. His 19 Ks, a 9-inning record at the World Series. He and Arkansas staying in the tourney with a 3-0 win over Cinderella Murray State. Here's Racers manager Dan Skirka.
One of my wife's favorite movies is A League of Their Own, and say there's no crying in baseball. Well, can throw that out the window. There's no way I'm making it through this right here.
Oh, no.
What these guys mean to me.
Murray State wasn't supposed to.
Oh, Manny. That's supposed to be a touching moment.
Listen, women who cry make me uncomfortable. I think grown men in uniforms who cry also make me even more uncomfortable.
Yeah, right.
Well, so anyone crying makes you uncomfortable.
Pretty much. Don't cry around me.
In college baseball, the managers have to wear the unis too.
Yeah.
It's baseball, man.
It's baseball.
Come on.
Oh, God.
Going to run away
The
from tradition.
dumbest-
That's what you guys are taking away from this. This was an unbelievable story. Murray State.
I'm taking away what the guy said. He grabbed Wood.
Yeah, that was.
I heard that too.
I know, we all perked up.
We all
because we're
looked
a
at
bunch
each
of
other.
children.
Every time this Murray State baseball team comes up, what's the first name that pops into your head?
John Morant.
John Morant. That's like the John Morant College World Series. I'm obsessed with that.
It's the best headlines he's gotten in a long time.
He might get traded tomorrow.
It's like things are turning around for John Morant. Murray State baseball looking good. Maybe they
he will
keep
be the
him and
face of the
Jaron
league.
Jackson. Like, yeah.
Good for Gage Wood, though.
What a name.
Really stuck out.
Absolutely perfect name.
I mean, baseball's got the best names already. Just of any professional sport, baseball, going back to the 1800s and then even now, but Gage Wood.
We're doing this Mount Olympus, sports gods from each city, and then you look at the old names, like those are unbeaten. Like
I was very
Lefty
mad.
McGraw and all
Yeah,
these.
the Vita Blues. I mean,
Yeah,
they don't make them like that, but Gage Wood is pretty good.
Well, nobody used their own name in the early part of the 20th century in baseball. They all had nicknames. Like that we got to go back to. Like instead of Manny, we
Skinny
need
Legs Magoo.
Yeah. Wait, what'd you say?
Skinny Legs Magoo.
He was good.
Yeah. No, you know what? Football's the same way. Crazy Legs Hirsch. Like we need way more nicknames.
Manny's
like
already a
Jalen
nickname,
Williams. There's 2 Jalen Williams on the same team. We need crazy nicknames.
Curly McNamara.
The problem is everyone's named Jalen.
World be free. Yeah. World be free.
Meta world peace.
He was the last one.
Thank you.
I was upset that this guy wasn't related to Kerry Wood.
Chad Ochocinco.
I mean, these guys really took it to the next level, though. Like Ocho, they legally changed their names.
I think Macaulay Culkin also changed his name.
Huh?
Really?
Yeah, that's Macaulay Culkin, if I'm not mistaken. He doubled up on his first and last name. It's his middle name.
You know, maybe that's what's missing with this.
Real life?
Don't move on from
What
this.
is that? What are you
This
talking
is,
about?
according to Wikipedia, that is his name. Macaulay Culkin.
No.
All right, sure. All right, go ahead. Continue with your. Don't believe
Oh,
Manny.
sorry. I don't believe Wikipedia. I think this is a joke.
He was born Macaulay Carson Culkin, but then now, according to Wikipedia, it's just twice Macaulay, twice Culkin.
Wait, can we get another source not Wikipedia? Macaulay Culkin is like something my 6-year-old would do.
We need a third source. We're also dismissing Manny.
Also, Perloff did say we need more nicknames. Manny is a nickname.
According to Maggie's favorite source, AI Overview,
Oh,
Macaulay
no.
Culkin legally changed his name to Macaulay Culkin. He initially held a poll on his website, Bunny Ears, where fans could vote for a new middle name after expressing dissatisfaction with his existing name, Carson. The winning name, chosen by over 60,000 voters, was Macaulay Culkin.
I will accept apologies now.
Well, I'm sorry, but AI Overview is crap.
But
Reddit is saying it happened. I don't know if you like Reddit more.
Manny's not a nickname, by the way. A nickname is
Agreed.
like round mound of rebound.
Right.
What is Halliburton, SGA, Jalen Williams? I know they kind of have nicknames, but we need better nicknames, and maybe TV ratings would go up.
Well, you have
The Mailman, Air Jordan, those are nicknames.
Helly Burton doesn't move the needle for you?
No.
I'll be honest.
No.
I think we're all too cool for nicknames.
But
What do you mean we all?
SGA kind of lends
Society?
itself. Is
Yeah.
SGA a nickname?
Yes.
No, it's just initials. But I mean,
Yeah,
but
I hear what
it's
you're
short.
saying.
But I think if somebody was like, "I'm the fireman," we just be like, "That's corny." Like we just
TJ McConnell,
Yeah,
but they
nobody
call
could-
me the fireman.
Yeah, seriously, nobody could come out saying I'm the mailman today. Like that would never work.
Right.
You'd be
But
like,
did
that's-
he
To be
say
fair, but
he didn't
yeah,
say he
Carl
was.
Malone did say it. The Kostakos brothers did they do it?
Postal worker.
Yeah, the first person that
Wait,
says
who?
that is like, that's dumb. Like somebody on social media would just like ratio them to death. They'd be like, all right,
Right.
never mind. Like you would never get to the point of a nickname sticking.
Unless social media comes up with the nickname.
But
Wait.
nobody on social media can agree on anything. So you're always gonna get haters.
There's a lot of I need AI overview. There was people named the Costacco brothers who named him Carl Malone the mailman.
Well,
I don't know this story at
The
all.
poster guys, right?
Yeah, they're the guys who made all those really cool posters.
Oh, the Nike posters?
yeah, I think they were doing it for Nike, but
What's going on in Utah?
they were the guys who did
Like the Iceman one.
Yes.
But Iceman was before that poster, but yeah.
Even like the Hitman with
Thomas Hearns?
Mattingly. Like like
Yeah.
those commercials or like Ewing
It was the
holding like
Blues
the dogs.
brothers that had,
Yeah.
I think it was McGuire and Canseco, right?
Bash
They were-
Brothers.
Right. But
they were Bash Brothers, but they were dressed,
dressed
like the Blues
Yeah, it
brothers.
was like
right, no,
definitely
but
like
those guys all had nicknames that Nike jumped on, I think. Like back in the day, you played basketball, you got a nickname.
Yeah,
What's
like
the
Dr.
Durant's-
J.
The Slim Reaper?
Yeah, like imagine him on
The
all the
Durantula?
other things against him, and he's out there trying to ask us to call him that.
You mean the Durantula?
He'd actually get stabbed probably in the street.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like Chocolate Thunder is not happening in 2025.
Oh,
Guys.
I wish it would, though.
I wish it
Dr.
would, too.
Duncanstein? We're too cool for Dr. Duncanstein?
We are.
White chocolate?
No way we can get these things over now.
We have the King still playing, though.
The chosen one or the king? Yeah.
We
And
have
he
a lot-
calls himself that.
But we have a lot of kings, to be honest. We have King Felix. We have Henrik the King.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have now LeBron, of course, the King. King will always get over. I think that's one of the few nicknames that can work.
Yours truly?
No, I think this is a problem.
Man,
I think this
What
is
do you
a
think
big
we
We'll
can
problem.
call you that.
Wait, does the NFL?
Buffalo
does
Wild Wings.
Oh,
Yes.
Mahomes.
Solitude.
What's Mahomes' nickname? I mean, that's been a hard
Mahomes?
one to figure out, right?
Kermit the Frog.
They're working on Mahomes.
he doesn't have one.
I know
they?
they've tried like 100 times.
Exactly. It's tough.
If you guys are
Go to
wondering,
hell,
too,
Kansas City.
the Kostakos brothers, this is the one that might really stick in people's. It was when they had the Land of Boz, and it was Brian Bosworth as Oz with Dorothy and Toto and the Tin Man and stuff. I'm trying to think what would jog people's memory on these cool
Excuse me?
posters.
Think about the guy that we tried to get a nickname over and then we clowned it. Maserati Marv. We kept
I liked it.
Yeah, I know, but like Gus Johnson kept saying that because he was trying to get that over, and then people were like, "God, if he says Maserati Marv one more time."
That
and
was Perloff. You know what? I think we need a committee. Not that we need more committees in life and more meetings, but Gus Johnson has to be the chair of that committee. With Chris Berman as the emeritus consultant.
real quickly, they have Pro Football Reference has like what looks like 6 nicknames listed for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Showtime. I just saw. I remember the Showtime thing, and that
Fat Trick is one of them.
That is mean.
Who calls him that? This feels like Wikipedia.
I will now.
Fat Trick is crazy.
The Chuba mental crisis.
Yeah.
Jameson Clam Crowder.
All right, well, what do we learn? We need more nicknames.
888-710-4ISN.
888-710-4476. Bogusch, thank you so much. Coming up, we will get to John Lynch. What he had to say about the 49ers next.
He's an idiot and a fool.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Remember Bubba Brazel, I grew out of wrestling. I was 12 or 13, I stopped watching TV. I moved out of the house, we sold the TV. I think I went to school and watched less wrestling. Bob Custer in Nevada. 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 I think I went to school and watched less wrestling. Bob Custer in Nevada. 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 Do you remember him, or are you too young?
Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. seconds remaining.
Towering chair. It's not people lying. He's never there. Somebody fess up who stole Amy's chair.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Wesley Financial. Stuck in a timeshare, want out? Contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com. Now I'm mad, Maggie. The death of nicknames. We're too cool to give NBA stars nicknames anymore.
I wish we weren't. I don't want to live in a society where we can't give stars cool nicknames.
Yeah, we didn't even know the names of people before. I didn't know what World B. Free's real name was growing up. I didn't know what Dr. J's real name was. I kind of knew that one.
He's not a doctor?
He's not a medical doctor. He is
what?
Doctor of basketball. He has a PhD in dunking.
Let's go to James in Nashville. Yeah, we were talking about Perloff thinks the NBA Finals would be more compelling if we had some cool nicknames. And EJ said we can't do nicknames anymore because we're so quick to jump on people and cut them down and clown them and turn everything into a joke that we couldn't even agree on a nickname. Jay, what's going on?
Okay, as far as the nicknames and everything, the reason why they're not cool no more is because we got too many people giving themselves a nick. You can't. That's the rule. You can't give yourself a nickname. You're giving yourself. It's the lamest thing ever to give yourself your nickname. I got like 5 different nicknames.
Yeah.
And believe me, you're not supposed to like your nickname in the first place. You know what I mean? It's always. We used to have a homeboy in high school. His nickname was Boner. You know what I mean? But he took that nickname like a champ. Everybody loved him. We said it affectionately. I mean, one of my nicknames is Taco Meat. You know, because of the way my hair is. But you got and plus I blame it on these rappers these days too, because they got the weirdest rap names. It's like you had to have named yourself that. Ain't no grown man gonna name you that. Little something or little this.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And it's kind of like
Ferg.
like what? What are we talking about? If Ferg is I think that's a woman's name too, man. It's like, what are we talking about? But I mean, I think that's the only thing. And the people that are giving out the nicknames, they're the type of person that would give themselves a nickname. So that's what's going on. That's why all the nicknames these days sound lame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're too busy trying to give out a cool nickname. No, your nickname is not supposed to be a nickname you actually like. It's like, you might have just the weirdest nickname. I mean, one of my nicknames is The Hobbit. You know what I mean? So and you take it like a champ.
You gotta take
know what
it.
I mean?
No, I hear you. Jay, you're right. The nickname should, I don't know if it needs to cut a little bit, but that's for regular people. We're talking about athletes like the Black Mamba. I think Kobe gave that to himself.
He did.
Right.
Wow,
and we
Kobe.
think that is amazing.
Pure
so
Kobe.
Athletes we're on a different scale.
So you could have a nickname. It sort of ends there, like 2010, 2011. That's when it seems like it died. Like The Answer. Everyone loved Allen Iverson, The Answer, or AI. Then now you don't get it. So I think EJ might have hit it. Maybe it's people on social media are clowning people too much.
Can I ask how you felt about McLovin all those years? Because are a nickname. People know you from them.
TV industry is all nicknames. Nobody, that's like whenever I worked at a TV truck, no one knew anyone else's name. McLovin was kind of fun because people remembered me over the other guys beside that nickname. So that was advantageous, I thought. But I never actually thought, I didn't like it because we couldn't do T-shirts with it.
No
and
more.
We could do T-shirts with all the other I couldn't brand it for myself. I couldn't make any money off of that because
super bad.
Yeah, because it's super bad. That was so popular. I would have loved to have a nickname that wasn't already taken. That was my only downside. I didn't mind being called something else, but I'm like, oh man, he's got that nickname. It's perfect. Superbad McLovin is the greatest character in movie history. Couldn't I be like? Could I have another nickname like Stu Gatz? That's a great nickname.
Yeah,
because there's not another way more famous Stu Gatz or. Yeah, that kind of killed me.
Well, you know what? Now I feel like, Jay, thank you for the call. I feel like now we missed an opportunity because when we were naming this show, McLovin and Maggie McLovin was definitely something we float around. But because of those copyright issues and things like that, we ran into some obstacles. But we could have just changed a letter. McLovin. Put a G at the end. I don't know. We could have done something.
Trying to do a bit here. That's
but
not working at all.
But should we have just tried harder to keep a nickname? Because
McLovin. How about that?
Yeah, right.
No, I know you wanted McLovin. 'Cause you probably wanted all those DP show fans to come over, but at a certain point, even on the DP show, like me and Dan were like, all right, this is getting a little old.
You outgrew it.
Yeah, Bill Simmons came on air on one of his podcasts and said, like, I can't believe they're still naming that guy McLovin. It's been like super bad. Super bad, by the way. If you want to feel old, do you know what year that came out?
2007.
What the heck?
Is that right?
I think
crazy.
so. I think that's actually factually correct.
America got bored of McLovin somewhere around 16. I'm going to say right around 20, kind of around 28-3. People were like, okay, we get it.
28-3.
Yeah. I do remember the point where like we all said, should we move on from this because it's not getting the juice that it used to.
I got to be honest, though. When it was the McLovin fake ID birthday, whatever that was, made it all through my timeline. I think people still love the movie so much.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, we love that guy. Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Amen.
American hero. Yeah.
What'd you say? The greatest character in
Ever.
movie history.
Ever.
Oh, spot the lie.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Feels like the NBA Finals could be over. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Congrats. OKC takes a 3-2 lead. It goes back to Indiana, but felt like last night OKC, Pearl, really put their stamp on this Finals, created a little separation here because not only is Tyrese Halliburton hurt now, he's dealing with a calf issue, had no field goals last night, 0 for 6, only scored his points at the free throw line. And you saw the combination of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams, J-Dub, combine for, 72 points last night. And, I mean, OKC was just all over the place, forcing 23 turnovers.
Yeah, but did you feel like it played out exactly like game one of the series where Thunder had a lead for most of the game, and then the Pacers wore them down, dragged them out to deep water. The Thunder were exhausted. So I think if Halliburton was healthy, I would like the Pacers in Game 6. The role players on Oklahoma City aren't going to shoot well in Indy. They have not so far. And then Indy will shoot better at home. I think if Halliburton was healthy, it played out exactly like the Denver series, where you go back to OKC. Denver won Game 6, right, in Denver. OKC's not the same team on the road. The numbers are really starkly different.
I know. I just don't think the Pacers have their closer, And I know that Nesmith did close out a game against the Knicks. He hit, 8 threes in that epic Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, but Halliburton is the closer.
Yeah, but they can't figure out TJ McConnell. Get that guy in there.
He runs out of gas, too. That's the problem. Rick Carlisle has to take him out.
How do we know that he didn't get his gas back? I mean, he took him out. He should have put him back in last night. I mean, he had plenty of rest. There was no reason for him not to play at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think there was Halliburton still could play. And to be honest, it was a couple of Nembhard turnovers right when the Pacers had cut the deficit to 2 with about 8.5 minutes left to go in the game. And a couple really bad turnovers that led to threes and second chance points. And all of a sudden now the cushion was back up to 8. Then it was back up to 10. And it ended up being an easy win for OKC.
Yeah, and OKC hit their threes. That is not going to be consistent. They will not hit those in Game 6.
Now, OKC up 3-2, but this conversation now is taking a backseat because Perloff has a theory about why this Finals hasn't been more compelling.
Yeah.
And has nothing to do with substitution patterns, has nothing to do with defense, has nothing to do with legacies, it has everything to do with nicknames.
Yeah, so back in the day, you didn't even know the NBA stars' real names. You didn't know. No one called him Irvin Johnson. No one said Julius Irving with a great play. Dr. J, Magic Johnson. And even as back as, the Black Mamba, The Answer, early 2000s, everyone had a nickname. Now what do we got? We got nothing. We have nothing consistent for any of these players.
Okay, so we do have the Greek Freak. People like that because we can't...
Because you can't pronounce his last name.
Giannis' last name.
So that's an exception.
Do it competently.
And also, I don't think people call him the Greek Freak anymore as much. I feel like it's a little bit... I don't know.
They just call him Giannis now.
Yeah, there was something about the Greek Freak that I don't think set perfectly with people. So I don't know. Yeah, I call him Giannis. That's what I call him.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
We've all butchered his last name so horribly.
But I'm looking at I Googled best NBA nicknames. Magic Johnson, Air Jordan. Who doesn't know Air? You know Air Jordan all across the world. Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins.
Yeah.
Carl the Mailman Malone, Akeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Yeah, Gary Payton's the glove.
Yeah,
I get
Pistol
it.
Pete.
But EJ
Jason
thinks
Williams, White Chocolate, everyone knew that.
I think EJ brought up a point that it's not because we aren't clever anymore. It's not because, people can't think of the nicknames. It's that none of them stick because it's like we're in a post-nickname society. Everyone's ready to clown each other, make fun of each other, that nobody can come out and say, call me the mailman, without getting a wave of criticism on social media.
I've seen there is an ad campaign out. I don't know if you guys are getting this in your neighborhood. New Balance signed Cooper Flag, and they're putting billboards everywhere saying it's Flag Day. I think it's June 25th I don't even know why it's Flag Day, but they're trying to make a thing out of Flag Day.
Flag Day is on June 14th. Oh, isn't the draft on June 14th?
The draft is June 14th.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah,
right.
Flag Day is June 14th.
Right. They're not actually celebrating Flag Day, Manny. Follow me. They're celebrating Cooper Flag, the basketball
Sorry, English
player.
is my second language.
But
Forgiven.
Cooper Flag feels like he's ripe for a headline, right? I mean, a nickname. Like
You really going to call him Flag Day?
No, that's not a nickname. I'm saying, I feel like we're going to find a nickname for Cooper Flag.
Capture the flag.
Like Koopa Loop? I don't know.
Koopa Loop.
That's what was Michael Cooper's nickname?
Mr. Cooper? Just
Coop. Right. And they did actually what it was called, the Koopa Loop because he invented the alley-oop.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I just think hanging with
I think
Mr.
he was the
Cooper
first alley-oop guy.
Was his sitcom. I don't know. Are we in a post-nickname society? Dave's in Milwaukee. Dave, are we slacking on this? Why don't we have good nicknames anymore?
It absolutely is slacking. I mean, the nickname game is complete trash as of late. And, I mean, the big one is, especially in the NBA, because that seems to be where it mainly is you just go off of the initials, right? SGA. Not necessarily bad, but come on, we got to do a little bit better. And even somebody like Halliburton, you just call him Hallie. Why aren't we calling him Hallelujah or something like that with the number of things that he's just throwing up out there? It's really not as hard as it is, but there's a difference between a nickname and a moniker, and that's what we're missing right now is a moniker game. Think of the one of the best places out there for it is pro wrestling. Everyone's got a moniker out there, and those are the things that stick. And those are also given, the people give it to themselves, like we were just complaining about. It's very easy to give a good nickname, and people just need to actually commit to it.
Well, but hold on, Dave. There's like a team of writers that come up with a lot of these wrestling nicknames. It's like it's a different, there's like people coming up with backstories, and they're characters that are getting invented. We can just call Derrick Henry King Henry. That's not good enough. He's a real person in real life who just actually plays the sport.
What are you talking about? There's a team of writers out there for every player in the NBA. It's called Twitter. Twitter does that for people. And you already know, if I went onto Twitter right now and I typed in so-and-so's name, I could find 12,000 nicknames that are better than SGA. There's probably someone out there calling him the Gilgeous Lotus or calling him General Admission, something like that. There's so much better things out there, and they're just not even trying.
But by the way,
pretty good.
all right, thank you, Dave. There are some that we forgot. The Joker, that's one.
Yep.
Greek Freak, Spider Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell,
Ant-Man, Spider.
Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. So we got a few.
The Brunson Burner.
I didn't know Brunson Burner. I love it, though, for Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, that's stuck for the Knicks.
Wembanyama.
The ironic, that's like calling the tall guy tiny.
Yeah, KD.
The unicorn for Porzingis?
The unicorn.
I know, but then we started using unicorn for everything. Can I give you a good NFL one?
Yeah, please.
Is Sauce Gardner not cool?
Oh, Ahmad Gardner. That's a great
I didn't even know.
again,
He's like Magic Johnson. I didn't even. Did he not change his name legally?
He's still Ahmad.
No, his name is Ahmad.
There are a lot in the NFL where guys do use a different first name. Then you read their first name, you're like, oh, I didn't know that
Kool-Aid
guy's name was Joel.
Name not Kool-Aid?
Kool-Aid McKinstry is the best, yeah.
Well, the SEC is going to be
Clinton Dix.
Did Kool-Aid change his name? I think he might have.
I just asked ChatGPT for 10 nicknames for SGA.
Oh, I'm dying to hear these.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, the first one's SGA, so thanks for nothing, computers.
All right, so you got 9.
So the robots are not as smart as we thought, guys.
Solid start.
The smooth operator.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it.
Smooth operator in the mid-range.
It's a great song by Sade.
Shifty Shea.
Yeah,
the internet would dunk on that.
Yeah.
Canada's finest.
That's R.J. Barrett. Continue.
Is it? Silent
Drake.
Assassin, the Glider, Shea Time. How about the Mid-Range Maestro?
I feel like they do call him that.
I'm a big fan of alliteration.
I feel like that's 8. 'Cause I feel like he does get called that, even if it's not a nickname.
I think he gets called the Foul Merchant more than the Mid-Range
that
Maestro.
too.
Maestro, excuse me. The Calm Conductor.
The con conductor.
And SGA, the Slasher.
Sure.
I don't know. Guys,
What? Does
everyone
Chet-
thinks AI is coming for our jobs. I think we're cool.
Does Chet Holmgren have a nickname?
No, he's just
Chet.
Chet Banyama.
I think when your first name is one syllable, I think oftentimes you don't need one. Like Kobe, he got a nickname, but he could have just been Kobe and that been fine.
Chet Mike Holmgren.
You know, there just aren't enough nicknames. You're right. And football is having the same issue, I think. Like,
we got to recycle them.
What is Jalen Hurts' nickname?
I don't know. I don't know how Josh Allen doesn't have one or Lamar.
Yeah, Josh Allen. Lamar
Josh Allen
Jackson.
and Lamar should absolutely have nicknames.
So they've tried to make one happen for Josh Allen. It's just not catching on.
Can you
what is
let
any
me
good
know
ones?
on what it is? Because I feel like I'm in Buffalo Twitter and
I think they tried to get Winter Soldier going.
okay, never heard that in my
hadn't heard that
life.
either.
I'm not advocating for it.
Also, is he a Winter Soldier?
Well, he's turned it around, man.
Alrighty.
He plays well in the cold weather.
Okay.
Better.
What about Lamar Jackson?
King of Broward County.
Kind of awesome.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's
Kodak's
something-
best friend.
God, we are tapping into a major modern sports crisis right now.
The guy who had that high school highlight that went viral.
When he stopped at the goal line and the guy ran right by him. Nasty.
I've got Chet Holmgren nicknames also from AI.
Oh,
if
this
you'd like
is
some ChatGPT.
Yeah,
we
'cause
got
this was a great one with SGA.
the Unicorn 2.0.
Okay, sorry for it.
Slim Tower.
I don't like that one.
I don't either. Chet the Jet.
No.
We already have Kenny the Jet.
Jason the Jet Terry is my favorite.
Yeah, that's true. The Holmgren Hammer.
What?
The Blocksmith.
Where's Chet from?
Minnesota.
The
The Blocksmith's cool, but maybe not for him. Rudy Gobert, but Rudy Gobert's the Stifle Tower. That's a good one.
He has one. He has a good one.
Yeah, but he's just not the
Minnesota
best player.
Mauler.
They call
Minnesota
him
Mauler for
the
Chet Holmgren.
Spaghetti Western.
Okay.
Who? Chet? That's pretty good.
That's really funny.
Mr. Mismatch.
Minnesota Mauler.
I know, but I think he's more known for OKC now, right?
Well, he's from Minnesota, though.
You know, a lot
I just
of these.
told you that. You didn't even know.
Well, I just wanted confirmation. Minnetonka, right?
Maybe it's too late. These guys, a lot of these nicknames I've seen came in college. So we might have missed the window on SGA and Chet Holmgren.
Well, they're not staying long enough in college for us to
Yeah, maybe that's
get
it.
used to them too, which is a big deal.
Oof.
Tough scene out there, guys, for nicknames.
I think NBA, Adam Silver's been trying to uncover every issue with the league and figure out why ratings are down.
I think we found it.
Think we should call the NBA offices.
You know, I think maybe people got so just sick of the process, they just don't want to hear any other nicknames for anything ever again.
Oh, that is probably the most recent nickname.
And it's the one that sucks because we just kept hearing about it forever and how amazing it was going to be.
And Joel Embiid kind of proudly calls himself the process. Like he likes
It's
it.
ironic, I think he's doing it now.
No, but I think he actually thinks it's cool.
What a disgrace.
That's a problem. Let's get to the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff, please.
It's time to feast your ears on Maggie and Perloff's Mount Olympus.
Sports gods. I don't think there's any good nicknames on. Oh, there's a couple of good nicknames on my Mount Olympus today. We take our talents to South Beach, Pearl. We're in Miami. The 4 sports gods from the city of Miami. Would you like me to go first? You
Yeah,
went first
but
yesterday.
I'm just curious. You have 4. Just state how many great nicknames you have in your 4.
I got one.
I don't even know if I have one.
Well, let's get it going with
Go ahead. Let's hear yours.
Dwayne County. Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, it's.
Wade County.
Wade County. Dwayne Wade County.
I mean,
Just Wade County.
D Wade.
Just
is-
Wade County. Not
Yeah.
I heard
Dwayne.
Wade County, yeah.
Sorry.
But I mean, his main nickname is D Wade, right?
Or Flash.
Yo, Flash. I forgot
I
about
do
that.
call that. Anyway,
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade is on the Mount Olympus of sports gods from Miami. Won the title with Shaquille O'Neal.
Former Cavalier?
Yes. And even amongst LeBron James and Chris Bosh and the Heatles, another good nickname, he was the guy and will always be the guy. He's got the statue outside, as ugly as it may be. He's still got it.
Yeah, that is
And-
not a good statue.
No, it's a terrible statue because he's actually a handsome dude, but he is not just, he's a sports god there, still lives there. Even though things ended kind of bad with the organization, he's technically a part owner of the Utah Jazz, still the guy in South Florida, in Miami. Basketball, I think, was always like a distant third, maybe, for Miami sports. And Dwayne Wade changed that. Dwayne Wade, sports god of Miami, 3-time champion. Dan Marino, guys. In many ways, still the face of the franchise. Still. After all these years, doesn't matter that he didn't win. Probably to him it does, but not to me, to put him on the Mount Olympus as a sports god. Did play in the Super Bowl, obviously, but did not win. And Dan Marino was ahead of his time, could have played in this era and still been amazing, tough as nails, everything you want in a quarterback, and he also exuded that really cool, I mean, we've gotten lucky, we've gotten to interview Dan Marino a few times. That tan, man, that thing's just there.
It's never coming off.
Oh, it's so good. And he was in movies, and, Dan Marino is just a huge icon. He is a sports god in Miami.
Yeah, but that tan, though.
It's amazing. He doesn't need makeup when he goes on TV. That's how good the tan is. True story.
Envious?
Crazy. If I came on camera with no makeup on, I'd look like I had tuberculosis.
Oh, no, don't say that.
It's just the truth.
Okay.
On to the Mount Olympus will continue. The last two coaches. Don Shula, Pearl, the winningest coach in the history of the NFL.
Heard of him.
And it looks like it's going to stay that way because Bill Belichick has moved on to the college ranks with his young girlfriend. So unless there's some...
Reed.
What?
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid may, but I don't know about Andy Reid. We'll see. Still
Reid's the big one. And then Nick Sirianni, too.
Yeah, sure. Everyone, Andy Reid, Nick Sirianni, same. Don Shula, sports god of Miami, even though he did coach other places, Pearl, what he did in Miami and how he became so synonymous along with Marino. Like, think about how sad this is for the Dolphins, that these are the two guys. In some ways, cool because they're so amazing. But also, it took forever for Miami to find another identity. And I thought it was going to be Tua, but I'm not even sure it is.
Don Shula, God, Tua. Yeah, no. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I'll say my thoughts on Don Shula. Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, you can't talk about Miami sports without talking about the U. And above any player who played for the University of Miami or Jimmy Johnson, who also is famously associated with the University of Miami, I picked Howard Schnellenberger as my sports god for Miami because he is the one who rescued the program. They were actually going to shut down Miami football. Can you imagine that? In the early 80s, they were going to shut the whole program down until Schnellenberger got there. They won the title in 1983. They beat Tom Osborne in Nebraska. It's a huge deal. And it set the course for then Jimmy Johnson to take over and continue the success, and it continued on from there. Howard Schnellenberger is a sports god for Miami.
Okay, love it. All right, I have a lot of the same things. Now, I'm really frustrated because I haven't gotten a lot of good nicknames. Like Dan Marino, I Googled Dan Marino nickname and nothing came up. But I have him on my thing.
Ringless.
My favorite Dan Marino stat was in 1984 when he threw 48 touchdowns and broke the touchdown mark by like 100 touchdowns. 48. Nobody did that in 1984. It was insane. The previous record was 36, and the dude threw 48. And when Brady and Mahomes and Manning threw 50 touchdowns, it was easy comparatively. Yep. Marino was doing it against an NFL. Nobody had seen an arm like this. Quickest release ever. Shame he didn't win. I think there are a lot of reasons, but Dan Marino for sure. You can't. Dwayne Wade, there's nothing to argue against because he's more so than another player who was there who I may or may not put on my list.
Oh, okay.
The fact that
Ronnie Cycli?
he got the early. Glenn Rice was my favorite. He got the early title, and then he was part of the Heatles, and also it just feels like he more than I'll just say it, LeBron, more associated with the place, and I think that's a big part of Mount Olympus. For this, like, what's a guy who spent the large majority of his career in one place? So that was easy. Okay, number 3, going against my own trend here, and I'm going with another coach, Pat Riley, because won titles there, obviously, but I didn't even realize this. I remember the ceremony. It's called the Pat Riley Court at Miami.
Yeah, talk about calling your shot.
You
at
said
Kaseya
that.
Center.
What's that?
At Kaseya Center.
Yeah, at Kaseya. What is Kaseya, by the way?
Who knows?
But Pat Riley.
Crypto.
You said that Dwayne Wade brought basketball to Miami. It was also Pat Riley.
Yeah.
And listen, I even remember as a coach, he kind of defined the 90s as the Knicks and the Heat coach by making it this rough and tumble game. Probably not for the best, but also that he built the championship team. It's really his DNA all over the Eric Spoelstra Heat as well. And he kind of got LeBron to go there. So I give Riles all the credit for that. And Don Shula.
Yes.
I agree with you on that. There are some nicknames associated with Don Shula.
Are there?
Well, Killer Bee defense. I think
Yes.
that was Shula. The no-name defense, also Shula. Because defenses used to have nicknames too, People forget that, and the Dolphins were all about that. And Mark Duper, Super Duper, great nickname. Shula, to me, I had Landry on he's the toughest dude. Like, he was in Miami, but Miami Dolphins right now, they're kind of, soft, right?
Yeah.
It's Miami.
Well, you think the temperature goes below 40, they're toast.
Yeah. They were so tough.
They
because
were.
Don Shula was just old school, tough guy.
And they were mean.
Yeah, that's because Shula was, those back in the day in the 70s and 80s, like coaches didn't want to hear about your feelings. They just wanted you to go out there and put your life on the line for the team. And to me, Don Shula is like the ultimate old school coach. Great steak chain. I've been to a couple Shulas, really good. I think Riley and Shula for this city really deserve a spot as non-players. So who'd you leave off now?
No, that's a great point because they are toughness, which is something that you don't
Oh, my
necessarily
God.
associate with South Beach and
You're right.
cushy and flashy and beautiful and warm and easy. And those guys are as tough as they come. I did leave off Pat Riley I know that Pat Riley, to turn his back on New York and then come to Miami and then all of the great rivalry they had between those teams. Alonzo Mourning deserves a lot of credit for that as well. But to me, Wade, yes, you could say Riley putting his rings on the table got LeBron to come to Miami, but it's the relationship with Wade that got LeBron to come to Miami. It was Wade and Bosch, and they were looking for a place to go. And I think Riley put him over the top, but I also think that without Wade, LeBron's not going there.
Yeah. No,
He would have joined Chris Paul or Carmelo or someone else, and it would not have been Wade.
But, do you get Shaq there? I'm not sure. It's not just about the Heatles. It's also about the first title and just the continued excellence. The fact that the team got to 2 more finals in the 2020s. I know it was kind of one's a bubble.
One's a
That doesn't
bubble,
count
the
for
other
you.
is a Jimmy Butler all-time amazing.
And they didn't really come close to winning that all. I got a couple guys I really, really considered. LeBron. Did you? LeBron, 4 years there?
It was not enough years.
Yep.
But I wonder for people who are Miami sports fans, if you consider LeBron a sports god, because I don't think in LA they do.
No,
But I'm
no,
curious
LA.
if Miami
Definitely
they
not.
do.
LA, you have too much competition.
Not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
I had a big debate between Bob Greasy and Larry Zonka, too.
Larry
for me,
Zonka,
it's
I thought
Zonka.
of.
I think Zonka's a bit more iconic than Greasy.
I thought Zonka was the guy.
Well, Greasy was, Hall of Famer, too. I think Greasy's a bit of a higher Hall of Famer than Zonka, but Zonka, you remember that guy.
I had an outside the box one, but to be honest, I wanted to have a shot at winning this poll, which you can go vote at Maggie and Pearl on Twitter and on X. And I didn't think I would have a shot if I put this person on here. But if you know, you know. Like the real ones in Miami know.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Grandma
I'll give you
something?
100 guesses. You're not going to get who.
We're talking about
Josh Beckett.
2006 NBA champion Gary Payton.
No, he's clearly on my Oregon Mount Rushmore.
If you know, you
Olympus.
know. So I'm going to guess that it's somebody who doesn't do a team sport.
His name is Wayne Huizinga. He owned
get outta
3
here.
different sports teams in Miami all at the same time and was the last outright owner, I believe, of the Miami Dolphins. He owns, I believe, also car dealerships. Wayne Huizinga, if you know, you know, was a huge figure in Miami, owning all 3 teams at one time.
What was his big mistake? I'm trying to remember. He made a terrible mistake at some point.
Did he break up the Marlins?
What's that?
Did he break up the Marlins?
I don't know.
After they won the title?
Yeah, he did something that.
Co-owner of Blockbuster. That's
yeah,
cool.
no, he's Blockbuster Wayne Huizinga. Yeah,
Wayne Huizinga is a huge deal in South Florida.
He's a big deal, but I don't know if he was such a great owner.
I mean, you own 3 sports teams at the same time.
How many titles did he win?
Well, I don't know. Not many. But that's a huge amount of influence for one city.
Well, did he win with the Marlins?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think he did. Yes.
I think he won with the first one, and the second one was Jeff Lurie, right? The other.
That dude won a title?
Yes.
But by the way, it's interesting. We didn't even look at the Marlins. Who would it be? Longoria?
Like I said, Josh Beckett.
No, LaGuardia is Tampa Bay.
Oh, Tom. Yeah, I don't even know the right team.
Miguel
Oh no,
Cabrera.
Jeff. Who's Mr. Marlin? Jeff Conine.
Jeff
right?
Conine is
Yeah,
Mr. Marlin.
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But you're not going to put Jeff Conine on the list.
Mike Lowell.
Yeah, Mike Lowell could have been the guy. So here's the thing about the Marlins is that they kept breaking them up after they would win.
Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, but Miguel Cabrera is a Detroit Mount Olympus.
Jazz Chisholm.
It's the two most random titles ever. Because you're exactly right. They just wouldn't keep it together.
Well, this is sad, but Jose Fernandez in
Yeah.
a sad way because it's, unfortunately he passed away in a boating accident. But what could have been with Jose Fernandez is unbelievable.
That 1 year with Giancarlo Stanton.
Giancarlo
Stanton,
Stanton,
Yelich.
Christian Yelich. Oh, man, that team was pretty good.
So here's the other person
why
I
they only
thought
won
of,
60 games?
but I don't know if you consider Fort Lauderdale is
Go
not
ahead.
part of Miami.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the stadium's as close to Fort Lauderdale as it is Miami.
Well, Chrissy Everett, 18-time major champion women's tennis player, is from Fort Lauderdale. I thought about Nick
Did you have to
Bollettieri.
Google that, or did you know it?
I know that Chris Everett's from South Florida.
See, I don't think, there's South Florida's own Chris Everett. I mean, like, Bron's from Akron. I know that. I did not know Chris Everett was from Florida.
Well, do your homework. No,
No, I'm saying, like, sports it's got to be common knowledge.
I think it is for people there.
I have something that'll make EJ mad. I get the U, but a lot of guys go to Florida State and Florida out of.
Oh boy,
yeah, there are a lot of people graduated from some other universities in that town. I'm saying there are Seminole fans and Gator fans in Miami as well.
My CTE acting up.
No, but the actual team is in Coral Gables.
Right.
Yeah. No, I know, but I do think like that. I don't think just putting Miami Hurricanes tells a whole story of the South Florida football scene. I think there's a lot going on.
I totally disagree because you talk about who's the most engaged fans of that area. I'd argue it's Miami Hurricanes fans still.
Right, but there's also a lot of rival fans in the same area.
Yeah, but that's just
they go to war.
Right, that's just geography. I mean, the Dolphins don't have any fans nearby, and nobody cares. Like they haven't cared since Dan Marino retired. You not having a hurricane is crazy to me. I'm sorry. I love Pat Riley, but
Yeah, I had to put Schellenberger
which
on there.
hurricane?
I think you could have done Schellenberger. I think you could have done Sean Taylor. I think you could have done Jimmy Johnson. I think
If you have
Michael Irvin.
If you have four couldas, then you have no actual Mount Olympus
No,
spots.
all those guys I'm putting over Pat Riley.
Does LeBron James deserve to be on the Mount Olympus of Miami sports? 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Question for you. And what do you think about our list here of the four sports gods from Miami and South Beach? It's the Maggie and Perloff Show. Don't move.
And I want my damn respect, too.
You're in a 5-minute break.
It's chaos in the sports world today. Maggie and Perloff exposing the play. Mascots cheating, love on the run, while Peter Bellatti's nowhere. Again, what fun! Benny the Bull's been sneaking with flair, but where's Bellotti? He's just not there. Grady's caught with the Philly-style kiss. Meanwhile, Pete's still on the absentee list. Mascot scandals, love in disguise. Bellotti's missing, no surprise. Zach Chubb's got Amy Lawrence's chair. No one's safe in this office affair. Philly fanatics been double timing with Stuff the Dragon. Sparks are flying. Bernie Brewer's been drinking too much. Caught with the moose, can't keep out of touch. Back at the station, Job's on the prowl. Snatched Amy's chair.
In Miami Gardens, where the Orange Bowl shines, Manny Rodriguez and Andrew Perloff's hearts entwined with Penn State's pride. They wore their blue, but Notre Dame's resilience cut their spirit in two. Oh, Mitch Cheater's kick sailed through the night, left Manny and Andrew in a darkest light. rolling down the highway, feeling kinda rough. Last night's dinner, fighting back, oh man, it's getting tough. She grips her wheel, but it's too late, oh no, here it comes. Her Yeti Angel's holding water, now it's holding chunks. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Yeti bottle's gone too far. Her toothbrush ain't gonna make it through. Perloff's calling hazmat, man, it's true. She stumbles into the studio, trying to play it cool. Perloff takes one whiff and screams, "This ain't in my job rules." He's climbing on the desk, he's spraying Lysol in the air. Says, "I need a full decontamination, get me out of here." Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Yeti bottles, a biohazard scar. Toothbrush soaked in bleach all night. Perloff's in a hazmat suit and fright. Audio, he still ain't here. Probably at home, drinking a beer. WM's in a toxic state, but he's still on vacation, must be fate. Swear she's feeling fine, says come on, let's do the show. Perloff shakes his head, says nah, I think I gotta go. The janitor quits, the boss is pissed, the whole place smells like doom. All cause Maggie's road trip snack made an exit too soon. Oh, Maggie's puking in her car. Perloff's running way too far. The Lottie's ghosting work again. Just another day on Maggie and Perloff.
I'm sorry. I got way out of control. I'm sorry. This is Daly. I'm out here. And Cap, I think you're great. This is Daly.
Trio 5.
I'm out here.
MIA.
And Cap,
Dean County.
I think you're great.
Y'all already know what time it is. Throw them U's up. Throw them U's up. We gonna let the band deal with this.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. Once again, we learned how hard this assignment is, Maggie. Mount Olympus, 4 sports gods from every major sports city. Today is Miami. And EJ's a Hurricane fan. He said, well, why didn't you put, and then he named 17 different Hurricanes players. Because there's 4 spots, and you got Dwayne Wade and Dan Marino. You can't have Frank Gore and Jared Payton on there.
Well, I put Howard Schnellenberger on mine, along with Wade, along with Dan Marino, and Don Shula, because to me, that really exemplifies what Miami sports is all about. The U has to be represented.
But you're trying to cheat this by saying Howard Schnellenberger represents and then name 25 different exciting Hurricane players.
Yes.
I feel like that's cheating the process a little bit.
You guys totally just snubbed Brad Kaya. I can't believe it.
And by the way, Howard Schnellenberger didn't even coach a lot of the more famous guys, who you're just talking about. He did coach very famous guys, won the title in '83, but that was the Bernie Kosar year. We were asking if LeBron James should be on the Mount Olympus for Miami sports gods. Chris is in Vancouver, says absolutely yes, Chris.
You guys are absolutely nuts for not having LeBron James. I understand the fatigue is real. The guy's been in the league since before Christ. But you guys, he's been to 4 championship games with the Miami Heat. He won 2 of them. He won 2 final MVPs. He was a 4-time defensive first team's defense with Miami Heat. Like, take Dwayne Wade off that list. That's how good he was.
Wait, I have a question for you though, Chris. Something a little closer geographically to you. Would you put Kevin Durant on an all-time Bay Area list?
Would I put him on that list? You know what? After the names I heard yesterday, why not? The fact that you're going to put Schnellenberger on and not put Steve Kerr on yesterday, like the guy won 4 championships. You're putting Don Shula for 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's why I ask. Because LeBron, like Dwayne Wade, a little bit of a carpetbagger situation, had the other guy next to him, Steph Curry, like Dwayne Wade, the homegrown draft pick who won before the other superstar got there. I think there's a lot of correlation between that Warriors team and the Miami Heatles team, and nobody put Durant on the Golden State one, so why would we put LeBron on the Miami one?
Because the choices were so good in Golden State. That's why Durant didn't make it. I had to leave Willie Mays off my darn list. And you're telling me, and I was just thinking about Jeff Conine for Miami list. So it's a matter of which city. Chris kind of sold me. I want to put LeBron on mine now.
Who are you taking off?
I would put Chris Bosch's rebound over Schnellenberger on that list in Game 6. Or I'd put Ray Allen's shot over anybody on that list. Anyways.
If you're going to put a shot on the list, then Ray Allen. Or if you're going to put a chase down. No, that was different. Yeah, LeBron's a good candidate, by the way. It's way different than Durant and the Warriors.
Okay, but
that's not even a good analogy. LeBron is a reason the Heat won those titles. Durant joined an already contending team. If LeBron doesn't go to Miami, there's no champions in that early 2010s. Wade and Bosch aren't winning one.
Well, but Wade had already won one. That's what I'm saying. He had already won
He's
a title.
A Shaq.
Thank you, Chris. Well,
because of Gary Payton.
And Wade carried them.
Wade was
but without Shaq there, he's not winning that. I'm just saying.
Shaq was terrible in those finals.
But it's way different than. Come on, he wasn't that bad. Also, it's way different. Like LeBron going to Miami is not the same as KD going to Golden State. I don't think anybody thinks it is.
I think they're closer than you might think.
What?
We put LeBron on the Cleveland Mount Olympus. I don't think he's getting on any others. He's not getting on Miami, and I don't think he's not getting on LA.
Cleveland!
We already did LA. He's not on there.
Because LA's too many stars. But generally, you think it's the same thing. What was Miami before LeBron got there? What was Golden State before KD got there? Golden State had just won 73 games.
No, I understand. But again, it's the same correlation of the homegrown draft pick guy who had already won. And then the other superstar comes to join him.
Yeah.
So the original guy gets the God qualities. He gets the godlike respect. And the other guy is the other guy.
Because LeBron left too early. That's the only problem. The reason he didn't make it is he just left too early. If he had stayed and not gone to Cleveland and rode that out with Miami, and I guess it's because Pat Riley took his cookies away. Is that what the story is?
That's what we're led to believe.
Okay. Then it became ice cream.
I mean, you take a man's cookies and ice cream away. What do you think he's going to do?
Very understandable.
He's going to go join Kyrie Irving.
I'd crash out too.
Manny's only propped up on cookies, ice cream, and zins.
Mm-hmm.
Bogusch is here with headlines. What's up, Bogusch?
Sorry, Ma.
For the first time in these finals, somebody has won consecutive games. The Thunder now playing from ahead, up 3-2 on the Pacers after a 120-109 home win last night. Jalen Williams was the star, a playoff career-high 40 points, but that 3-2 lead is all that matters to him right now.
It's something more that I'll look back on later on than worry about what kind of statement it makes. I think the only statement we have right now is we're up 3-2. And we still have to go earn another win.
Williams scored 24 of his 40 in the second half. When Indy cut an 18-point deficit down to 2 in the fourth, only to let the Thunder run away for good. 31 points of support from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And now comes the hard part. 2 chances to win one game and that title.
Obviously, it's a lot easier said than done playing against a really good basketball team, but we got to try to stay in that space, in that momentum on both ends of the floor for longer periods of time if we want to kind of hoist this thing.
Game 6 in Indy on Thursday night. 2 full days to rehab for Tyrese Halliburton, who is battling a right calf issue. Halliburton missed all 6 shots he took last night, scoring just 4 points. Indy led by Pascal Siakam's 28. TJ O'Connell scored 18 off the bench, including 13 in the third, but Perloff still wonders if TJ is good. It is.
So do I.
No, I don't.
No, he needs a nickname.
TJ.
Beyond that.
Megan's brother.
Do you know how old TJ McConnell is? I actually was shocked.
32.
35.
33.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's happening now? It's shocking.
Hey, late bloomers.
He wasted all those years on the Sixers.
Yeah, you're not wrong
Not even
about
that many
one,
years. He came in the league really late.
It is damage control time in Boston. Red Sox president Sam Kennedy seemingly blaming Rafael Devers' reluctance to switch positions this season for Sunday's stunning trade.
We worked at it. We had a different vision for him going forward than he had, and we couldn't get there. We couldn't find alignment, and we reached that inflection point and made the decision to make a big move.
GM Craig Breslow adding that Devers' camp floated the idea of an amicable divorce, but other reporting says Devers told management he loves Boston, wants to stay, but feels underappreciated, and if they don't want him anymore, then a trade would make some sense.
Bogusch, go ahead.
Well, question. So he reportedly will switch positions now? Like,
I don't know that we know that yet.
I thought I saw that he said he's open to the idea now. Okay. Maybe
You might be wrong. I'm right. I just don't know.
But if he does switch positions and you're a Red Sox fan, I think he becomes the bad guy in this situation.
See, I think the Red Sox become the bad guys. It's like
Why?
he's willing to do it for another organization, but what got so sour that he wouldn't do it for you guys?
Why would you not blame him?
I think because you could say they obviously approached it wrong, right? They didn't sell it to him in a way. Maybe you don't think you need to do that kind of thing, but
What would the Giants do differently? Like, I think it's on him.
yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to see the same. And by the way, I don't know if we're ever going to know exactly what happened, like, and who said what to who and who actually ordered the code red on this. But obviously, it's the team's decision because I had heard that maybe he asked for a trade also, and then that got nixed. Here's a good theory or a good opinion I heard about this yesterday, and I'm sorry, I forgot who said it. Like, why not just play the season out and trade him in the offseason?
Especially because the Red Sox are looking really good right now.
They're looking good now, and he was still playing well.
Yeah,
so
why not trade him at the deadline?
Right. This is where
even the deadline, but the off, like, see if you actually make the playoffs and then trade him.
Yeah, and this is where the Luka comparisons come in because they basically confirmed yesterday that they traded him to trade. Like, they didn't shop him around. There was this weird word salad sentence about maybe it's not the best deal, but the best deal is not always the best deal. Like, it was a really weird explanation from Craig Breslow. So it is Nico Harrison light, where they have this, above average elite talent, and you would think that multiple people would have lined up to trade for him.
Right.
At the deadline or in the winter, you'd have a different batch of suitors, more suitors. Instead, they pull the trigger out of nowhere in a deal to the Giants, and yes, they get the money off their books, but they get no player value back for him. And now you got to trust them to spend that money in general and then to spend it correctly now that they have it back again.
But there are other critics who say teams wanted nothing to do with that contract. In fact, there was a rumor that they might even have to give away prospects to get rid of that
But did
contract.
they shop him?
Yeah, I mean, but even if they
Doesn't
shop
look
him, they
like
were
it.
not getting anything great back because of the finances.
Sure, but like with Luka, they didn't have to trade him.
No, I understand. You're right. And I don't think they shopped him, which is a mistake. But then again, I think it was chemistry. They're like, well, if Devers isn't going to switch positions, we got all these young guys here. Like, I don't know. You could make an argument that Devers was not being a team first guy.
No doubt.
And the best thing to do is to get rid of the non-team first guy. That's an argument. I'm not saying it's right.
There's also an optics of this of you can't trade him further away. Like,
Yeah,
remember when
true.
Bill Belichick traded Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers? Like, switching conferences and the other coast and as far away as humanly possible from Boston, Massachusetts. You can't get any further.
It was sent to Seattle, but they're in the same conference.
You might actually have to see them in a playoff in some alternate universe.
And that's the only thing that makes sense in the weird sentence about, like, the best deal's not always the best deal. Like, I think he was saying, like, maybe the Rays wanted him, but we didn't want him anywhere near us. We have to take a lesser deal to get him geographically and, like...
Yeah, how do you know that's like, how do you know your fans are going to hate this? Because you can't even have the guy anywhere in the same time zone.
And they'll be asleep when he plays most of their games.
Yeah, they're going to hear about it in the morning when he hits 2 home runs
Right.
against the Dodgers. It's like, it's totally... That's one of the reasons why they did this. Also, quickly on Perloff's point, I think he raised a question, why would he change position somewhere else? It's like sometimes when you're in a toxic relationship, you're like, I'm not doing anything for this man or this woman.
Yeah.
Like, they suck. I hate them. I'm not doing anything. Then you get into a new relationship, you're like, ooh.
Oh, I'll do the dishes.
Yeah, I'll do this. Okay, sure. For them,
Yeah, but
I'll take out the garbage. I'll walk the
Doesn't mean
dog.
it's right, but I think that's what happens
Yeah.
sometimes.
But there are all sorts of players who do that, specifically wide receivers in the NFL. It's like they turn against a team, and then after a couple of years, they turn against their new team. And then after a couple of years, they turn. Stephon Diggs jumps to mind.
Yep.
Like, you have a shelf life if he will recreate that relationship at some point in San Francisco.
Surely that press conference was also face-to-face with reporters, right? Not through a Zoom, Bogues?
No, I think it was Zoom.
Oh, what an optic.
Manny getting after the Red Sox. 888-710-4ISN. Bogues, thanks so much. We get back to the Mount Olympus of Miami, the 4 sports gods from South Florida. Yes.
Manny, you're the biggest soccer fan here. Isn't this whole thing about paying for John Henry's soccer team? That's a rumor out there.
Yeah, that is
so,
a
Manny,
rumor,
you should back this deal. And you're a Yankee fan.
Listen, Rafi Devers, have fun in San Francisco, bro. I'll see you never.
Are you a Liverpool fan? No.
No, I'm a Barcelona fan, but it is pretty damning about what's happening with the Fenway Group and Liverpool.
Is this a good enough conspiracy theory to get your basement fired up again and bring out the murder board and the notebooks and stuff?
Way ahead of you.
Okay. Not enough levels for Maggie.
Maggie's gonna come home with an English breakfast.
No one's died yet.
I've got a noon flight to London. I have yet to tell you guys about.
Liverpool does not play in London. They play in Liverpool, but whatever.
I can't get a direct flight from JFK to Liverpool. I checked. 888-710-4ISN. 888-710.
World traveler Manny disagrees.
I call horse manure on that one, but let's go to break.
We got so much to do. Back to Miami. Taking our talents back to South Beach. The 4 sports gods for Miami. Should LeBron James be on this Mount Olympus?
You're in a 5-minute break.
Texas, there's a football team, got $1 billion stadium, living the dream, but the fans don't holler, don't who gon' cheer, they just sip on Merlot and nibble on brie. They got boots on their feet, but won't step in no mud, call it a
Down in Music City, there's a man named Jay's tuned in to Maggie and Perloff every single day. Life's been a battle, he's been losing for years, but now his motto's clear. No more losing tears. He's been down, he's been low, but now he's ready for a brand new show. Jay's got questions, can't let it slide. Who's running the YouTube on the infinity side? Jay in Nashville calling out the crew. Who's behind the curtain? He demands the truth. Peter Bummelotti's ghosting, no work in sight, but Jay's got the Maggie and Perloff show to make it right. Make it right. Been a loser so long, my losing's all gone. Tapped out my bad luck, it's time to move on. From his couch in Nashville, he's solving the case. Infinity's mystery, he's all over the place. He's got theories, he's got plans. Is it Moose or Perloff behind the cams? And Bellotti, forget it, he's MIA. Jay's the one who's showing up today. Jay in Nashville calling out the crew. Who's behind the curtain? He demands the truth. Peter Bummelotti's ghosting, no work in sight, but Jay's got the Maggie and Perloff show to make it right. They said you lead us, Kirk, to brighter days. Your arm was the sun's barely up, the crew's on the scene. Construction workers puffing on that green. Hammer in one hand, joint. Andrew Perloff, the nerdy king, lost a bet, now he's in his thing. Tom Brady's name was on the line, now he's dressed like this, oh what a time.
8-night vibes, hitting up the show. Maggie and Perloff dropping takes that glow. In the chat, Stunner Fillmo runs the scene. Spitting fire so hot it makes the snow seem mean. Down in Louisiana, Uncle Sam's lit. Rare snow on the ground, but he don't give a shit. Snow in the south, man, what the fuck's this? While Bellotti's ghosting work, he's always dismissed. Stunner Fillmo dropping shit like whoa. Truck with Sam's buzz, snow on the floor. Daily says time to bust the plow now. While Bellotti's at home, chilling somehow. Fillmo spitting truth, he's the chat's big hitter. Drunkle Sam's slipping whiskey in his glitter. Maggie's crushing staff, Perloff's got the flow. And Bellotti, he's like, work? Hell no. Daly's cracking jokes, where's that one plow? Louisiana snow, it's rare as Pete somehow. Stunner's calling out, Sam's laughing out loud. Bellotti's excuses, bury them in a snowbound cloud. Stunner Fillmo dropping shit like whoa. Drunkle Sam's buzz, snow on the floor. Daly says time to bust the plow now. While Bellotti's at home, washing his drink. Daly's plowing snow, making Pete rethink. Snow in Louisiana, Bilotti on the run. Both are rare as hell, like Perloff having fun. The chat stays lit, Phil's throwing flames. Daly's got the plow, Bilotti skips games. Maggie and Perloff hold it down so tight. While Pete's at home, sleeping through the night. Drunk with fans laughing, snow falling slow. Daly's on the grind with that plow in tow. Phil was running things in the YouTube show, while Bilotti stays MIA status quo. Time to bust the plow, Daly screams in the chat. Louisiana snow ain't built for that. Maggie and Perloff, the MVPs of the day. While Bilotti's legacy just melts away. Stunner Phil long, dropping shit like whoa. Truffle Sam's but snow overflow. Daly says time to bust the plow now. While Bilotti's at home, chilling somehow. For here's to Filmo, Sam and Daly too. Maggie and Perloff, they'll carry the crew. But Bilotti, man, fuck that guy. A no-show forever, just waving goodbye.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Bad Bunny, not a Miami native, but today we do the 4 sports gods from the city of Miami. It's the Maggie and Perloff Mount Olympus. Just quickly, I went with Dan Marino, with Dwayne Wade, Don Shula, and Howard Schnellenberger. Pearl?
I went with the same 3, except no Schnellenberger. Pat Riley is my 4th spot.
Don is in L.A. Don, what do you think of our Miami sports gods?
I think it's a good list, but here's one name you forgot. Probably the most obscure Miami football player, but probably one of the most famous persons. And how about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
Ooh, Don.
He's from California, but...
Yeah, did the young Rock grow up in Miami?
No,
nobody
he's
played
from
for the
California, but...
Yeah, I know, but
he
come on.
played for the Hurricanes.
A lot of places.
Come on.
You sick freak!
Oh, man. Don, that just made me think.
What made you think about what?
Is cooking.
Okay, so he wasn't, obviously, he's not even close to being the best player from the University of Miami, obviously, but he is the most famous.
Definitely.
Yep.
Oh, man.
But
Don, what else you
how
got?
many games?
Something
By the
about
way,
Josh
all right,
Allen?
wait, Don, Maggie, EJ. How many games do you think The Rock played in Miami?
He was hurt a lot. I think there was one season where he played most of the season, but he was hurt most of his career.
Wait, when he took that now infamous photo where he's wearing the turtleneck, the chain, and the fanny pack, we all know what I'm talking about. Was he at the U with that?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah, he was.
By the way, our buddy Ryan Leaf went on his recruiting visit, and I think The Rock took him out.
Great story from
Yeah.
Ryan, going
I
around a
wore Zap of The
limousine
Rock.
in South Florida. Very, very cool. Don, you had something else about Josh Allen's nicknames? We're talking about why there are no good sports nicknames anymore.
Yeah, well, don't forget, the one good thing Tony Romo does do is he gives Josh Allen the nickname of the Alien. So that's a great nickname. But I think the problem with nicknames is that it relies on the person's personality. And we as a society have kind of shied away from people having personality these days. So the nicknames have gone away. You know, I think the best nickname in the NFL is Joe Burrow. I mean, he's got like 4 of them, right? But he's got that personality that allows him to get a nickname.
Yeah, but Calvin Johnson had a sick nickname, Megatron, and he didn't have any personality.
Yeah, that's true. I would agree with that one.
It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. So Romo is good at giving people nicknames. I never even realized he calls Josh Allen the Alien?
The Alien, yep.
Huh. Maybe there's more Romo than meets the eye.
I feel like Gruden could have been a good nickname guy.
He's Chucky.
This guy.
He had a good nickname.
Yeah, his was Chucky.
That was a good
Which
nickname.
fit. See, Jay in Nashville, Don, thank you for that. Jay in Nashville called earlier and said you're not supposed to like your nickname. Yeah, your nickname's supposed to cut a little bit, like it's supposed to be a little too close to the vest.
Like the Iceman? What are you talking? Dr. Duncan?
I think that's more like personal people, not athletes. Athletes, you are supposed to like the nickname.
I guess so. But Chucky seems like one of those where you don't love that if that's you.
Yeah.
John Gruden.
John
loved him.
probably did, though. He's a lunatic.
Oh, my
There's a
God. Are you
Mexican
kidding
soccer
me?
player nicknamed Chucky.
I like it better in Spanish.
His name is Irving Lozano. Chucky Lozano.
And he has red hair?
No. I have no idea why they call him that.
Why are they calling him that?
I have no idea.
All right.
There are a lot of college football guys lately who don't use their real name. I have noticed that. So maybe there's a trend to come back to nicknames. Sauce Gardner was one.
Yeah, Sauce, the Kool-Aid McKinstry, the Ha-Ha Clinton Dix. Yeah, there's been a few. The SEC has got plenty.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
Oh,
but
we forgot Megatron.
I just said Megatron.
Just mentioned.
Yeah.
Well, I
My
should pay
favorite was
attention.
when Chase Claypool was called Mapletron because he's from Canada and he was showing Megatron-like skills for about a season.
The Maple Mamba, R.J. Barrett.
Yeah,
Oh.
ban all
Maple Jordan.
I mean, this
Andrew Wiggins.
influx of Canadian players gives some opportunities, but they don't have a ton of personality.
Well, it's funny because you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is now one of the most famous Canadians, and he's Maple nothing.
And he has a cousin that's also playing.
We heard that a time or two.
Really? Didn't hear that one before.
Lots more to do. The Miami Mount Olympus, the four sports gods of Miami. Does LeBron James deserve a spot on that list? We got some football for you, too. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break.
And tape stack low, and the chat's on a Fillmo runs the scene, spitting fire so hot it makes the snow seem mean. Down in Louisiana, drunk Uncle Sam's lit.
Now Bailey rode into town with suspicion in his eyes, saying Kaplan's got a secret and he's hiding it inside. Zach Job's lost in darkness, Ryan Stream's a mess, Chappelle Wolf's just a spinning wheel. Oh Lord, what a distress. But Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem, don't look at me, ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee tea. So Davey, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make strings fly. But Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Now Peter Bellotti, well he don't show, and that man's supposed to be running this show. If there's a tech problem, don't look at me, ask the guy who's missing more than Tennessee tea. So, Davey, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make strings fly. Maggie and Perloff, they shine so bright like a star in the desert on a Texas night. Daily says it's shady, but I swear on my name, I just push the buttons, I don't play no games. Oh, don't play no games. Oh, babe, my friend, don't spread that lie. I ain't no bandit, I just make streams fly.
Pine Needles wakes up at dawn, coffee brewing, screen turned on. He's got a favorite show to see, the Maggie and Perloff Symphony.
Only expectation. But when you're Connor
Oh, pine needles are turning tight to infinity sports radio every night. Maggie and
Captain Big Zoo at the helm with a flair. A joy. Maggie's got some giant feet. They're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk crack, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on poles, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs. Hey, it's all in good.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
The Oklahoma City Thunder are one win away from their first ever NBA championship. For the first time in the finals, they lead the Pacers 3 victories to 2, a resounding Game 5 home court win, 120-109, as the Thunder have 2 shots to get 1 win to hoist their first ever NBA title. Tonight, magnificent work by Jalen Williams with 40 points, a career playoff high.
That was Matt Pinto on the Thunder Radio Network. And yeah, Jalen Williams was fantastic in this game, especially in the fourth quarter. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Feels like OKC has really found themselves here, Pearl, and it looks like they are now going to no doubt be your NBA champs.
Yeah, I mean, listen, counting out this Pacers team could be a mistake, though, Maggie. They've been hard to figure out. There was a point last night where I was almost certain they were to come back and win the game because Oklahoma City looks so tired. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is exhausted, but no Tyrese Halliburton being Tyrese Halliburton killed the Pacers. If Halliburton was healthy, do you think last night could have gone differently?
I do. However, when the Pacers finally started to make their move, when they cut the deficit to 2, they basically trailed the entire game. But when they cut the deficit to 2, there was still 8.5 minutes left on the clock. For the Pacers to pull off one of their signature come-from-behind wins, they actually need there to be like 2 minutes left on the clock, or better yet, 30 seconds left on the clock, or 0.7 seconds. 8.5 minutes was just too long, especially considering that Halliburton is just not the closer that he can be anymore with that calf. I just don't trust it. He was 0 for 6 last night, only scored 4 points, all from the free throw line. And at Game 6 on the road, you're the star. Clearly, he is not himself.
Well, but I would argue that Game 3, when the Pacers won pretty easily, they were down, I think, by 5 going into the fourth quarter. That's exactly when their run came, and it was for the exact same reason. The Thunder second unit was getting blown off the court by the Pacers second unit. They couldn't figure out TJ McConnell. It feels like Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell were the best 2 players on the court for a large stretch.
Yeah, and then what happened when they go on the road? Then Obi Toppin's not playing as well. Benedict Matherin's not playing as well.
I talked about last night. Like, TJ McConnell was the single best player on the court.
No, TJ McConnell was, but not all the role players, not all
Obi
the second.
Obi had a little run there, too, where he looked like he was very, very confident. You know, he goes through those stretches where he's really good. I mean, I think one of the big surprises of the series is Indiana's bench is so much better than OKC's. How is that possible? OKC had the deepest team in the league coming into this, and they can't figure out TJ McConnell. It's strange to me. So I don't think it was I don't think it's as quite a done deal as you do.
So you think we're going, a Game 7? Pacers win in Indiana, then we're back to OKC?
If Halliburton was healthy, I would be sure that we were going to Game 7, just like the Nuggets series. Then I would like the Thunder big time at home, because I don't think the Thunder will shoot nearly as well. But you got to give me more information on Tyrese Halliburton's calf, Maggie.
Well, here's Rick Carlisle on that calf injury.
He's not 100%. It's pretty clear. But I don't think he's going to miss the next game. And, we were concerned at halftime. And he insisted on playing, and I thought he made a lot of really good things happen in the second half. But he's not 100%, and there's a lot of guys in this series that aren't.
The odd part is that he's not 100%. Rick Carlisle's acknowledging that after the game, right? In the middle of a series, you're acknowledging your star player is definitely hobbled, yet TJ McConnell, who was very good in the third quarter, played all of 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, and a minute and a half of that was garbage time.
Yeah, that was a tough call. I mean, I think Carlisle's taking a lot of heat for that move.
Here is Halliburton saying that there's no way he wasn't playing despite the injury.
I mean, it's NBA Finals. It's the finals, man. I've worked my whole life to be here, and I want to be out there to compete, help my teammates any way I can.
Okay. I understand the instinct there, right? The warrior instinct, and you want to keep playing, but, that's what the coaches got to make those tough decisions. And I bet if you went back, I bet Carlisle wishes that he had put TJ McConnell in the fourth quarter a lot sooner.
Yes, I tell you, but Halliburton did really look hobbled. I'm having trouble wrapping my head around how injured he actually was. Because he was running around a lot. He was moving. He just
wasn't attacking.
Yeah, but is that because of how he plays that sometimes he doesn't do that? That's the rap on Halliburton. He gets unaggressive with his own shot.
But that if you're going to have the comeback, you need the aggressive Halliburton, and you never got it last night. Now, there's another part of this NBA Finals that we find interesting, which is how compelling has this been? The games have been close. The games themselves have been good, but Perloff, you still feel like it's lacking a bit in sizzle.
Oh, I like that word. Sizzle is a good word. I just think this series is not going to capture the casual, non-everyday following the NBA fan for a couple of reasons. One, they don't really know these stars yet. The Thunder haven't been to the finals since 2012, whole new team. The Pacers haven't been to the finals since the 2000s. With Reggie. Nobody knows any of these players, but also there's not that buzz player. Like, who is the guy that you have to tune in to watch? Who's going to have a play that you've never seen before? I don't think either team has that guy.
Although if maybe there were just some fun nicknames, perhaps you'd be thinking different. That's what we've landed on this morning. If there were some cool nicknames for these guys in this game, then maybe people would grab onto it a little more. It's
interesting. You have to, if you have a player that is so spectacular, you have to give him a nickname. When Vince Carter came to the NBA, everyone was like, God, this guy is so ridiculously spectacular. We need a nickname for him. And they tried a million different things. I think half man, half amazing stuck the most. So I think that, generally, do we really need a nickname for a guy who's going to score 22 points a game with all mid-range jumpers?
Well, he also is the MVP.
I was talking about Jalen Williams. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, do we really, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like Dr. Duncanstein, that guy needed a nickname. What do we really need one for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Well, I guess in a perfect world, but at some points I think you might be asking for too much. I can't tell if Perloff's asking for too much, right?
Like, he is.
Oh, come on. You can't.
You can tell, Maggie.
What do you mean I'm asking for too much? I am in the large majority of America with this.
No,
they're asking for more too.
I know, but the funny part about you keep saying Vince Carter, and I know your love for Vince Carter, and so I'm not surprised you're bringing him up. But Vince Carter didn't have a moment in the finals. That's a myth. There's nothing there to live up to because that never happened. I know he wasn't on teams that were good enough, and he wasn't enough of a winning player to be in the finals. Here we have guys who actually are in the finals, who are playing well, who are being interesting. Yeah, they're not, dunking through the legs and then tomahawk yamming it home, but it's still good basketball.
It's San Antonio Spurs. It's Tim Duncan in a two guards body.
I know Tim Duncan's going to go down as one of the greatest power forwards of all time. Like, doesn't that mean anything?
And Shai's game is way more exciting than Tim Duncan. His handle is sick.
For a two guard, in the history of two guards, he is on the less exciting.
That's why he's a point
spectrum.
guard. So let's get out the two guard thing. He's their team's point guard.
But everyone compared him. But the big comparison was Kobe and Jordan. Can Shai become one of the all-time great two guards? That's not me. That was out there all over the place.
All-time great players, but I mean, he's their point guard.
Well, also, can we give him a minute? I mean, he's still pretty young in his career.
But, I mean, Tim Duncan is slow. He's plotting. Like, that is not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like, to me, like, you're almost describing Luka Doncic to me if you're talking about who's Tim Duncan. Like, Tim Duncan's game was so slow, methodical. Like, Shai's game is slick. He's smooth. His handle is super tight. Like, you keep making him Tim Duncan. Like, I don't think that's a fair comparison either. I don't know who I would compare.
But he doesn't, for a guy like that, he's not going to, have a highlight dunk.
No, but he'll have a highlight crossover. He'll put somebody on their backs, which is also exciting.
But last night, he's just got a lot of foul line area jumpers.
Well, he's winning. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Do you need more than just winning or close games for things to be interesting?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Spurs' rise hurt the NBA. It's ratings-wise. If you care about ratings, I think the NBA was dying to get LeBron in there, and then they were so excited when Curry came in there. And even
Well,
I think
LeBron played against the Spurs. Like,
Yeah.
he had some epic battles against the Spurs.
And people would watch because they want to see LeBron, not because they want to see the Spurs. And also, I think that Curry was so different too. There's sort of nothing about that. If the Thunder gets so good that they win 4 titles, then it'll be compelling. But I don't know if that's going to happen because in today's NBA, it doesn't matter how good you look one year, something completely different happens the next year.
And I think this is maybe part of a problem with the NBA because we can actually have a Mahomes-Brady who's the GOAT conversation without Mahomes winning 7 Super Bowls, right? We can do that.
No,
you don't sound silly.
Yeah, Mahomes has 3 in his first whatever years. Like you would sound, you're not going to have a Lamar Jackson Brady. Of course you would.
No. I'm just saying we can have a conversation in football when things aren't exactly apples to apples. I feel like with the NBA, you have to, like, we wouldn't start talking about legacies of Shea or Halliburton or whoever, anyone who's on the court until they get, 3 titles?
But right, you wouldn't talk about, I don't understand though. You wouldn't talk about Mahomes and Brady until the Chiefs won all those Super Bowls. Of course not.
Right, but I'm saying we can still have that conversation now when Mahomes has 3 and Brady has 7.
Right, but we're assuming Mahomes is going to win more.
Okay, but he hasn't yet. In the NBA, you can't even start. It's like you can't even start appreciating a guy until he's basically being compared to Michael Jordan or LeBron James. Like that's all we have. It seems like almost like a little bit lazy. Like we can't. The one thing that compels people is basically the LeBron Jordan debate and then maybe Steph and LeBron or something and comparing guys and their legacies. We can't just say, hey, this is just good basketball. This is winning basketball. This is interesting. Maybe it's the beginning of the dynasty.
Oh, man, to catch the sizzle there. This is good basketball. This is interesting. Like, it's not like take your breath away, thrilling. You remember where you were. Like, that's not what you're describing. You're describing a product that just does not sound overly compelling.
Well, I'm just talking about this stranglehold that people say, and you've said it a lot, Pearl, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. Like, what's the NBA look like after LeBron and Steph Curry have retired? Yeah. I mean, we're still doing the Michael Jordan comp. So in some ways, I don't know if it matters because...
Well, LeBron, I think, filled the Jordan void to a large extent.
But we're still saying Anthony Edwards is Michael Jordan or Shea could be Jordan or Kobe. Like, I just think that there's this like when LeBron said he's chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan, I think it's actually true for every great player now. And that's like all we have. And it's gonna get a little old and stale if we have no other rungs on the ladder to compare anyone else to, right?
I'll be honest. I just feel like if we're still clamoring for the days of Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals, basketball, I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, there's like, you know, to me, like when we talk about music and there are people who are like, oh, this isn't the music of my day. I want to hear the Rolling Stones. Right. Or I want to hear Run DMC. And it's like, well, sorry, like music evolved and it changed. And you liked it when you were younger and maybe you were a young adult or maybe you were a kid and it was really exciting. You were into that. But things evolve, things change. Like, I think for some reason, the NBA seems to be the sport, but baseball deals with it too, where it's like, older fans are trying to tell people how it has to be from 30 years ago. Maybe it's never going to be that. Maybe like those fans need to go do something else. Like maybe it's not for them anymore.
Listen, the thing about music is you can always go back and listen to it, right?
Exactly.
And it will always a banger can come on from 1950 and it will always be fun and you can be in the mood for it.
And Jordan switching hands against the Lakers in the NBA Finals will always be a banger.
Right.
It's exciting. It's awesome. But like
that's all great, but the question isn't what do you like? The real question is like, what are the ratings going to be for this series? Like, is General America going to get into this series? I think that's the question. And I think on that, I think I'm right on that. I'm like, of course they're not. Like, what does the casual fan care about Jalen Williams scoring 40 against the Pacers?
Right. So this is my point, right? It's like, unless you're being compared to Jordan, it's like, to you, it doesn't matter.
No, not to me. No, take me out of it. What do you think about America?
I think you're speaking for a lot of America right now. So
right. That's the question. The question isn't like, what do I like? The question is like, what is going to capture the casual fan's attention? And I think this is not going to do it. And it doesn't matter. Of course, I like Michael Jordan. Yeah, that was my peak of sports fandom. I get what you're saying, EJ. Yeah. But the reality is like, everybody knew like, oh, this series is going to rate terribly compared to the ones around it.
I just think if
there's got to be a reason why.
Yeah, and we can point to a few things. We've mentioned a few. There's no history between these two teams. These are a lot of guys' first time in the finals for many of them. I don't even know if you want to say small market because I don't think it matters anymore. But I think there's a lot of things you can point to. But again, I think if we're always saying, well, are you the next Michael Jordan? There just may never be another one of him. We have to find a way to enjoy sports without always comparing everything to Michael.
But again, and I know
basketball,
you guys
excuse me.
If you had Zion in this series, and I know that's a pipe dream, he's nowhere
not
close.
good enough.
If you had a guy like that, he might be. Actually, did you see with the last game where he was really healthy against the Lakers in that playing game? It was ridiculous.
That was like 2 seasons ago.
I know. I'm just saying, if you had a player like that.
Well, he's not dedicated enough then because he can't keep his weight down.
But I'm
and
just
he doesn't
saying,
deserve to be in the
if
finals.
you had a guy who does something that we've never seen before, that might attract the fans. I just don't think.
But that's what I'm saying. Where I say that, I feel like then if that's the case, I'm not saying you. I'm saying you just represent America. Then basketball's not for you anymore.
I gotta tell you one thing.
If you need a high wire act in order to be excited about teams competing for the ultimate prize in the NBA, then you really weren't.
But also too, though, those same fans were into Curry. They were really into Curry. I think they'll be into Wemby.
Right, but
I think they would probably be a little less so into Anthony Edwards. I think everybody's waiting for the next exciting guy.
Wait, can I bring this up, though?
Yeah.
Because it's funny where this doesn't apply to the NFL. Our first year together doing the show, we went to a Bengals-Rams finals, right? Which Super Bowl, which had no connective tissue at all. And we found compelling storylines. Whether it was Joe Burrow, it was Stafford, McVay trying to avenge, a prior Super Bowl loss. All these things, it just didn't matter. Adam Silver has said something about this. You have two small markets, you have two seemingly air quotes random matchups. It doesn't impact it at all.
Well, yeah, but no, it will. I think honestly, they need Wemby to get to the finals. They need Cooper Flagg to get to the finals. I think there's more coming. I think there's an exciting guy. I mean, honestly, if Wemby was in this finals, the ratings would be gigantic. I think it's the players. I don't think it's market size. I don't think it's lack of dynasty. I think there is not a buzz guy there. And it's not because I'm old or something and I'm waiting for Michael Jordan. It's just who cares about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams? Give me a 7'6" guy who could cross over and hit a 3-pointer. I want to see something I've never seen before.
I know, but you might just have to settle for good basketball.
Not really. I might get this in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Wemby, no doubt. If he can stay healthy, but Chet Holmgren is here right now, and he's kind of the stepping stone to Wemby.
Give me a break. There is no. If Wemby doesn't get better than what Chet Holmgren is right now, then we're in trouble. Wemby's got to take him all the way.
7 feet, gangly. I mean, Wemby's better than Chet, but
he's also way taller.
I guess so.
Yeah, at least by a good 2 inches. They were saying he's 7'4", but he looks taller.
But on TV, is that going to come through those extra
I think
couple?
it does.
Maybe.
When I watch him, he makes 7-footers look small.
Did you see the picture of Shaq next to Wembanyama?
Yeah.
I think we would never have this discussion if Wemby was in this final.
He took a recent picture with David Robinson, and they were like, "There's no way this guy is 7'3". Because
he's 7'6".
Yeah, because he's standing next to Dave Robinson, who was 7 feet tall, and David Robinson looks like he's Muggsy Bogues. It doesn't even make sense.
888-710-4. I said Muggsy Bogues. 888-710-4476. So, are you finding these finals compelling? 888, as I just said, 710-4. I said. Also, the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff today.
No, I says I'm gonna knock your ass out.
Our talents take us to South Beach. Miami, Florida.
Play them if you want to.
Who made the Mount Olympus next? Spoiler, is LeBron James on this Mount Olympus?
How about Shaquille O'Neal?
He might be there too. Got to stay tuned. It's Maggie Perloff.
Supposed to be 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, back to 1.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
I'm a Miami boy, you know how we play. I ain't playing with you, but I want to play with you. Get me, got me good. Now watch me. It's a different.
All right, the Defensive Player of the Week is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. I mean, you got to go NBA Finals here, right? NBA Finals, Oklahoma City Thunder coming off a win. If I had to pick anyone off of last night's game for Defensive Player, I'm going with Kason Wallace, who's mainly a defensive player who finally hit his shots last night. So that's my guy.
I know after getting taken out of the starting lineup, he actually had a good game last night. How about Shai? 4 blocks, 2 steals last night. Could it just be the simple answer, the MVP?
By the way, Siakam's block on Shai was nice last night. I would give Siakam some love too.
So the defensive player this week is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who, despite being the team's point guard, or I guess there's an argument there.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander
still had 4 blocks and 2 steals in this game. He had a big block on Siakam as well on the other side. That was awesome. I thought he was great, but to be honest, this could have been to the whole team, which I never do and I never will do. But Chet had 3 blocks. People shot 3 for 12 against him in one-on-one matchups. He was phenomenal. Caruso had 4 steals. Wallace had 4 steals. They were all over the place. But I thought Shai, being the star player, setting the tone, I think was a big difference in the game.
They do hunt Shai, though. You can see it. They're trying to get Siakam on Shai whenever they possibly can.
Because he's the worst defender, but it's not because he's bad. It's just...
Yeah, it's just those other guys.
Yeah, do you want Dort or do you want Caruso? There's just a bunch of all NBA defenders all over the place. So you got to pick the guy, and happens to be the MVP.
15 steals last night as a team, and it was 23 turnovers for Indiana.
A lot of fouls, too. There were a lot of fouls.
I thought Rick Carlisle might get tossed from the game in the first quarter.
He should have. Honestly, I think the officiating was a big deal last night. They bailed out the Thunder on some really weak calls on the third and fourth quarter.
There was a moment, so it's early in the game, it didn't end up deciding anything, but when Carlisle gets teed up, and he's clearly sending a message, should have been called a foul, but it was his coaches had to hold him back so much. I actually thought someone ran onto the court because they had a high angle going, so you couldn't really see him like this. And, Rick, unfortunately, was the Pacers coach when the Malice at the Palace happened, too. But I thought something happened, like a scuffle with someone in the front row or something.
Yeah, no, and I think he was right on that call. I can't remember.
He was.
Sometimes you'll see a guy going for a layup, and you're like, why wasn't that a foul? Then you see it in slow-mo because the defender just missed him, and he whiffed on that. There were a couple plays. I thought Jalen Williams got some calls he shouldn't have. Those guys just draw a lot of physical contact, so the officials are in a tough spot. I don't think it helps the flow of the game, by the way. I don't love the style as far as the physicality.
We are doing the Mount Olympus of Maggie and Perloff today. Miami is in the spotlight. The 4 sports gods from the city of Miami. I went with Dwayne Wade, Dan Marino, of course, Don Shula, and Howard Schnellenberger. Perloff.
I went with the same group, except I took out Schnellenberger and put in Pat Riley.
The question is, does LeBron James deserve a spot on this Mount Olympus?
I almost pulled the trigger and did it. Did you consider it?
I did, and I just couldn't get there because...
Okay.
First of all, I think Wade is like the representative of the Heatles, and I think he's more important, quite frankly, than even LeBron. And LeBron wasn't there long enough.
By the way, one more name, too, football. Jason Taylor, I saw, got a lot of online love. First ballot Hall of Famer. I thought he was a little rich for a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he was a fantastic player for a long time on a team that didn't have a lot of guys.
How about a guy who probably should be in the Hall of Fame, but who isn't at the borderline, Zach Thomas?
Yeah.
I love Zach Thomas.
I hated going against him as a Bills fan. He was
but he's not quite
tough.
Jason Taylor good.
No, Jason Taylor was also incredible. You're right. Jason Taylor was a first ballot Hall of Famer. We never really unpacked that.
I didn't love. Sack numbers are hard to tell. They're like wide receiver numbers. They keep going up. But Jason Taylor was fantastic.
Let's go to Dom. He's in San Francisco. Dom, who's on your Miami Mount Olympus?
Hi. Thanks for every day when I call about the same time. I'm walking my dog. And if there's times where I seem like I'm not there, it's because I'm leash tied or I'm looking out for his safety, and I appreciate your patience with me. His name is Frankie, by the way.
After who?
I don't know.
Oh. I thought you were going to say it.
His name out of the pound.
His name is Josh Beckett.
About 8 years ago, and I just looked at him and thought he's standard Schnauzer and West Highland Terrier mix. He's really cute.
Amazing. So who's on your Miami Mount Olympus?
Well, now Shula, Marino, Dwayne Wade, and I went with Larry Zonka.
Yeah.
And a couple of honorable mentions I have to get in from yesterday would be Willie McCovey and Rick Barry.
Of course, for our Bay Area Mount Olympus. Thank you so much, Dom. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was convinced that when Dom was telling us the name of the dog that I was going to have a sports tie. Right?
I mean,
totally.
When I get a dog, that's only going to have sports ties.
Are you going to name him the Brunson burner?
Brunson's, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges.
Just name this dog Josh Hart.
Yeah, that's right.
It's It's insane.
Patrick
Chewing. Patrick Chewing. That's wonderful.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good one. I had a friend named his
I
dog
was
Mello.
like, man, he just discovered the
That's
split
great.
the atom.
That's great.
You're so pleased with yourself.
Oh.
By the
Man,
way,
he
if
should
we
be in
want to
charge
do
of doing sports nicknames.
Mhm.
He should be. This is our.
if we were going to do bad gods, evil gods, Miami's got it's fair. Share.
Everybody who's run the Marlins.
Yeah, well, Jeffrey Loria, I think, is isn't he considered like the worst owner ever? And then how about I was thinking about a guy, Isaiah Thomas did his little stint as a coach in Miami, Florida International. Remember that bad
I do
boy?
remember that.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh! I was trying to
do.
figure out what you were talking about.
Me too.
Yeah.
Isaiah did a stint in Miami.
And I remember it was a disaster.
It was bad.
It was not good. And I also think of the Dolphins have been sort of poorly run too since Marino,
Well,
since the prime of Marino.
Nevin Shapiro probably makes it on the
Definitely.
gods of the underworld of Miami.
Oh no, he's the god of the gods. What's wrong with Devin Shapiro?
No, he's a snitch. He's a rat.
Oh, he turned
He
it.
was the one who
it wasn't
turned
that he
on the
paid for
Hurricanes.
players that he gave.
His own Ponzi scheme. Then he was like, "Well, I'll give you something, NCAA and Feds. I'll give you that. I'm paying Miami players." What a
How about
clown.
wasn't there a bad official in the Miami Ohio State national
Yeah,
title
whoever
game?
called that pass interference.
Yeah,
That guy
yeah.
also on the list.
Where do you guys think Derek Jeter ranks among that list? He
Jeter.
traded Giancarlo Stanton away to the Yankees and then
Yep.
dipped.
I want to put PJ Brown on that list, not because Miami people hate him, because I hate him.
He
'Cause
flipped over.
Charlie Ward and
Yeah.
changed the history of the NBA.
Zoe
Charlie
made a
Ward,
lot of
Florida
lists
State.
on mine too. Alonzo Mourning definitely busy works for the team too, right?
I know, but here's the thing about Zoe. I think we all give Alonzo Mourning, who is a sports god in Miami, by the way.
Yeah,
But I
definitely.
think we give him a little bit of a pass, A, because of all the liver things he went through. I mean, he really was staring
Yeah.
down like a deadly situation and recovered. But also, I think that we all knew that Alonzo Mourning was a good guy.
Yeah, he's
Just
but he's a fantastic
chippy player and fantastic player, but in real life was a good, solid citizen.
You're definitely right, but I'm scarred because as a 11, 10-year-old kid that tried to get Alonzo Mourning's autograph, and he said, "Not today, kid."
He probably saw
But
your
wait,
Ewing jersey. And
you're
was
saying
like,
that
"Go
he-
screw."
I was smart. I was not wearing any Knicks paraphernalia. I was at his basketball camp.
Patrick Chewing.
You're saying Mourning was not as good a player as we remember because he was a nice guy? Because I remember him being a great player.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
saying I don't put him on a villains list.
No, nobody put him on a villain.
Well, not villains.
He said PJ Brown.
I think he's a real god.
No, he's a god. Sorry,
Oh,
I
he
thought
said-
you were talking about the villains list.
Oh,
because
no. Joe makes a sports guy. He's on a lot of Mount Rushmore for Miami sports.
Semi-joking, semi-not. Udonis Haslam?
Yeah, no, big.
Unk?
Yeah, I mean, big
he
part
grew
of that.
up in Miami, played basketball in Florida, but spent his whole career down with the Heat. So I mean,
How about
he
that
spent
guy
all of
who's
his life in
nicknamed
Miami.
the Bird guy with the
Chris Anderson.
Yeah,
of course.
he's a big part of that.
Birdman.
You're going to put all
What happened to that
24
boy?
Hurricanes on your 4-person Mount Olympus, and we could get a couple Heat in there.
I don't know. I mean, EJ made a good point with Sean Taylor.
I
But
wouldn't
put
put Sean
Schellenberg-
Taylor even top 5.
What about Mario Chalmers? Remember guys?
Sean Taylor. It's Sean Taylor.
I mean, rank your Hurricane. We could do a whole separate side debate on the most impactful Miami Hurricanes. I'm not sure Sean Taylor makes that list.
Unfortunately, like when people die, it changes how you think of them. But I think that is part of the thing with Sean Taylor. I think if you go to Miami Hurricanes game today, I think you'll see the most shirts you'll see are Sean Taylor shirts. I've been to a game.
Well, how much did he win?
He won a national title as a second. He was a backup to Ed Reed, but he was on that national title team in 2001, and he was on the team in 2002. They got screwed by that ref against Ohio State. So I think he only lost one game in college.
I mean, I think I actually saw Ed Reed on some lists. I think he goes ahead of Sean Taylor. But anyway,
the only reason why I said Sean Taylor over Reed because I think he's from Miami. I know Ed Reed's from New Orleans, so I think that I threw that. That's a little bit of a bone to Sean Taylor.
As a homegrown, 888-710-4ISN. Who and what did we get wrong with our Miami Mount Olympus? Bogusch is here.
Guys, the Pacers are officially in trouble. Back-to-back losses for the first time in 3 months. Down 3 games to 2 to the Thunder, courtesy of last night's 120-109 loss in OKC. And Tyrese Halliburton is not healthy. No field goals, just 4 points last night while battling a right calf issue.
I mean, it's NBA Finals. It's the finals, man. I've worked my whole life to be here, and I want to be out there to compete, help my teammates any way I can.
TJ McConnell seemed the better option last night, scoring 13 points in the third quarter, 18 total, but Rick Carlisle didn't stick with McConnell deep into the fourth quarter as the Thunder retook control of the game.
He was very tired. That's why we got him out. And I think there was a play early in the fourth where it looked like fatigue had set in there, and then, Ty was back in, and then that group went on a good run there. So, yeah, it's always a consideration.
The Pacers got as close as 2 in that fourth after trailing by 18 in the first half, only to lose by 11. They committed 8 fourth-quarter turnovers, leading to 13 points, 32 Thunder points off 23 giveaways for the night. OKC, 1 win away from the franchise's first thousands of played in Seattle, Manny. A playoff career-high 40 from Jalen Williams, 31 from SGA.
Oh, the Storm play there.
Game 6 in Liverpool on Thursday night. The Stanley Cup could be won this evening, which is not good for the drought-busting community. The Panthers can put away the Oilers in Game 6 in Florida and keep Canada Cupless since '93. Damn. Edmonton is not named its starting goalie yet after going with Calvin Pickard in Game 5 after pulling Stu Skinner from Games 3 and 4. Pickard allowed 4 goals on 18 shots Saturday night in Edmonton.
I was worried that, if Florida wins a cup and then it's back-to-back, so obviously not a slump buster, not a drought buster, but the NBA is going to have a first-time champ, with OKC, with the team in OKC, and then obviously with the Pacers. So either way, I'm good there. Do those two cancel each other out, and 2025 could still be the year of the drought buster?
Canada is the top of the list, drought.
It's killing me. Come on, McDavid. Draisaitl.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like reality has anything to do with this take anyway.
Good point.
Like, what's stopping you? Who cares?
You know what? Fair. Thank you.
The definition of a drought has changed about 37 times.
Well, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll flip it to this is the first time since the Miami Heat that a South Florida team has won back-to-back titles.
Right.
That's the drought that got busted.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Good.
Over a decade, right?
That was good.
Been around Maggie long enough.
EJ's on my side, like the rest of you guys.
Shohei Ohtani allowed 1 run in 1 inning while driving in 2 in the Dodgers' 6-3 win over the Padres last night. This was Ohtani's first start in 21 months.
That's a slump buster.
10th pitch was 100.2 miles an hour. Pitch number 17 of 28 hit 99.9. The Rockies scored 3 times, top 9 for a 6-4 win in Washington. The Nats have now dropped 9 straight. The Philly win streak is 5 after a 5-2 win in Miami, and the A's are kind of hot.
And Abreu throws, and that swung at a high, deep drive to right. Smith is back. He will not even watch it, and the A's win it on a walk-off by Nick Kurtz. A no-doubter up on the berm and right.
That's Ken Korach on A's Radio, a 3-1 home win over the Astros. The A's have won 4 straight and 7 of 11.
That was a moonshot.
LSU and UCLA could not finish their game at the Men's College World Series last night because of storms in Omaha. The Tigers lead 5-3 through 3. They'll resume at 11 a.m. Eastern today with the loser playing an elimination game tonight against Arkansas. Asia Wilson remains in concussion protocol, so she'll miss her 3rd straight game tonight when Vegas visits Minnesota. And the PGA Tour just officially introduced new CEO Brian Rolapp, who comes over from NFL headquarters. The announcement also said that current commissioner Jay Monahan will step aside for Rolapp when his contract expires next year.
I was at the NFL, I think, with Rolapp at one point.
Are you friends with him?
No, I don't think I ever met him. But I would go down the NFL. This was 2004 into the Huddle Cafe when Tagliabue would be there and Goodell would be there, Rolapp would be there. I never met any of them. I was a peon.
Wait,
that would have been cool, though.
Yeah, because I think he was on some people's short list as the next commissioner.
No,
of the
Goodell's
NFL.
never leaving.
Well, I think that's why.
Did Goodell say this was his last contract, then he just re-signed another contract?
Yeah.
He's making $50 million a year. Why would he ever leave?
Well, I did see Shamar Stewart almost killed him when he was hugging him at the draft. maybe the physicalness of the hugs. That's the only thing I got.
That's why he only does round 1.
Yeah, and by the way, he'll never be able to live long enough to spend his money. So
maybe he feels like he's got nothing else to do. I thought maybe he'd run for office. His father was a senator, right?
I don't think he's well-liked, though.
That's true. He does get booed a lot of places.
Yeah, you got to be likable, at least to start your political career. Then
only half the country.
Yeah, then everyone hates you after once you're in it.
I feel like the hate's gone down a lot for Goodell, though.
For a second, I thought you were going to say from politics. I was like, what planet are you on?
Same. I was like, but but I still don't think people like. I think again, like when they recruit politicians, like I think they're recruiting. I know they recruited obviously Anthony Gonzalez, who's a congressman in Ohio. There was another athlete I saw they're recruiting. Adam Wainwright.
Oh, Adam Wainwright,
is
right?
being recruited potentially. Like again, these are people that who doesn't love Anthony Gonzalez, great Ohio State wide receiver? Who doesn't love Adam Wainwright besides Mets fans?
Yeah,
everyone else loves them. Like these are great guys, great career people. So once you then get into politics, then people start to hate you.
Well, yeah, but I don't even know how we got it. Goodell.
I mean, people hate him now, so probably
don't you
even have the likable.
Why did Goodell? I think. What did I don't even remember. Like, how did this start? Was it Spygate? I have no idea.
It was the jail, the jail stuff. It was he came to the league. I'm the sheriff.
Oh,
and he was like, guys were just not even getting charged. He was like suspended 6 games.
But Maggie said Ray Rice, which is the opposite.
That was another thing.
Oh, I think at first he was not. He didn't come down hard enough, right? So he
was
this guy.
First he came down hard. Then he didn't come down hard. Wasn't the jail stuff first?
No, they reacted to the video of Ray Rice. That's why he got in trouble.
Yeah, but I thought he came in as a sheriff.
He definitely did.
He did. So what happened with the Ray Rice thing is that they just when Ray Rice before the video, they had the police report, which described exactly what was on the video. And they brought Ray in, and then they brought his wife in, or I think she was the fiance at the time, and they interviewed them together. And that is like a big no-no.
Yeah.
And because like who's going to be truthful in that situation. Right. And then once the video came out, they were going to suspend him, I believe, for 2 games off of the police report. And then the video came out and was like, this is so heinous. Like, how could you have only suspended for 2 games? And he got a lot of backlash for that.
Right. But it's funny because it's the exact opposite of why people started to hate Goodell. He was way too lenient with Ray Rice.
Right.
Where he came in the league in 06, 07 and just suspended everybody.
It was like James Harrison just kept getting fine after fine after fine after fine.
Ray Rice was in 2014. In 2017 Spygate era, he was over the top. Also,
Bountygate, people thought he was too harsh.
Yeah. But is that? I don't even know if that's why we all hated him. There felt like a lot of different reasons.
Well, to be fair, I mean, being a sports commissioner is not a really universally liked position. Who doesn't get booed? I mean, David Stern used to court it, People think Adam Silver is running the league into the ground.
Gary Bettman
gets booed 10 ways from Sunday.
Rob Manfred?
He called the World Series trophy a piece of tin.
Yeah, no, I know. I was you're right. There isn't really a popular. Is there ever been? I feel like
Silver was popular.
Silver was in the media at least.
Popular, right?
Silver, after he banned Donald Sterling, got very popular because Sterling was a racist, awful person who deserved to be out of the league.
Peter Uberoth, who was a commissioner, right? I believe of baseball, and then he took over the Olympics. And he was a huge name who everyone liked.
Well,
Roselle people like too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You guys know better than me.
Yeah.
I was young, but I guess Pete Roselle would probably be the last one.
Commissioners had
I think Uberoth was after Roselle, but or actually no, I'm not sure. Baseball, Pete Rose screwed up a lot of commissioners. Like there are a lot of problems with baseball.
I don't think people love Bug Selig.
Yeah, I
definitely not.
He's literally used car salesman. Which is a good first profession to have before you get into being a commissioner. Skill sets transfer.
By the way, I think Rob Manfred's also had a turnaround. I think the rules,
because of the rule changes?
I think they've helped. I feel like he was at a valley a couple years ago. Now he seems to be, he's okay. He's not great, but he's...
And he brought back the uniforms for the All-Star game, so that approval rating for Manfred going back
serious?
up. Oh, yeah.
We're
going
this
back to
the best news I've heard in months. And I've had some rough stuff happen in my house recently. Are you serious?
Home whites and road grays will be worn at the All-Star game.
And that's not new news.
No, that's not necessarily. That was news from last year. But yeah, now it's definitely confirmed.
How did I know this?
I have no idea. You're the EP, bro.
Seriously.
It doesn't take much to turn around your thoughts on commissioners.
No, change my mind. Rob Manfred, you're up to number 1, baby. President of the United States, Rob Manfred. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're not voting for him.
Yeah.
We know he's got a direct line to the current president.
Listen, if he all says we can all wear all-star uniforms that are just our favorite teams every day, I would consider him. Just saying.
That's America's uniform.
Exactly. Just wear your favorite baseball team uniform every day. Like Perloff just comes in every day with a Phillies uniform.
That might finally unite us as a country. Everyone just wearing their favorite baseball stuff all the time. Easier conversations to have than some of the other distressing things happening in the world.
Every time I see Bogusch wear something Mets related, I want to punch him in the face.
Well, that's this place.
That's a me thing.
That's a Bogusch thing specific.
That's Bogusch's face.
By the
Well,
way,
can't do anything.
more proof. Met game Sunday. Mets and Rays. Multiple dopes in Yankee jerseys and hats in
Oh, yeah?
Queens. You say it doesn't happen. It happens at every single game.
It happens every time I go to Yankee Stadium. Bunch of losers in Mets jerseys with Juan Soto jerseys on. Bunch of losers. Why
It's
don't you go
you
to
and your
Queens?
friends.
Shouldn't say that on people who work here, Manny. 888-710-4ISN.
Talk to a woman.
888-710-4476. Thank you, Bogusch. Lots more to do, including we got to get to, while we're on Miami and the Mount Olympus of the four sports gods for Miami, could a current Miami coach be the first one fired this NFL season? Yeah, we're looking at you, Mike McDaniel. We'll do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Miami, South Beach, bringing the heat.
All eyes on Miami today. The Mount Olympus of Maggie Perloff moves to Miami. The 4 sports gods from that fun city. Just going to lay out for Will Smith here. Let's go to Mike in Syracuse. Michael, quickly, Perloff and I will rehash who we have. I have Dan Marino and Don Shula. I have Dwayne Wade, and I have Howard Schnellenberger. Pearl, go ahead.
I have same 3 except Pat Riley instead of Schnellenberger.
Mike, who do we miss?
Well, choosing to do Miami today when you should have saved it for tomorrow, you might want to stick Alexander Barkov on there. If he manages to close out Edmonton tonight, 2 Stanley Cups, 3 trips to the finals.
Yep, the captain.
Yeah. And there's just another little nod. There's a guy that played basketball here in Syracuse, went down to Miami, became beloved.
Oh, I mentioned Ronnie Cycli. I mentioned him. Ronnie Cycli, who I thought about actually putting on this Mount Olympus. Pearl and Mike, thank you so much for the call, because you know what Ronnie Cycli does now in his retirement?
No, what's that?
He's a DJ.
Yeah.
He's like a club DJ.
More famous for Miami. I think Glenn Rice would take definitely get the call up for that team, right?
No, but what's more Miami than becoming a DJ? Like now, Ronnie Cycli, if you're talking about sports gods, it's like your playing career, then what do you even do after? It's like the most Miami profession possible.
For some reason, because Glenn Rice was such a great player, I kind of run to Cycli because that was his best years was in Miami. Glenn Rice played in Charlotte, was really good there. He was an all-star in Charlotte. What are you talking about?
But I mean, I think he was for a long time. Wasn't he the Heat's leading scorer?
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he was awesome in Charlotte. I don't want to disrespect Glenn Rice's time there. So that's the kind of thing with him. But
I would say he was an original. Both of them were original Heats, right? It was original.
And then Steve Smith was there early too.
Yeah. By the way, I was thinking when I say all-time Panther, I just sort of remember for some reason Pavel Bure was there for a while, right? And it was awesome. That was the one I think of him as the Panthers, because it's hard to grab onto a Panther. We want to, trust me, they're defending champions.
Well, I know Mike said we should do it tomorrow because the Panthers can win the cup tonight. But
I feel like Mike kind of jinxed the Panthers there. I got that vibe.
I'm still holding out for the Oilers to be the drought buster. Santos is in Arkansas. Who'd we leave off, Santos?
I was just curious to know if Larry Zonka could possibly make that list or could have made that list.
I think so, but the question is, who do you take off? So do you take off Shula? Do you take off Marino for Larry Zonka?
I would take off Marino.
No, you take off a basketball guy. You take off Howard Schnellenberger or Pat Riley.
But Santos just said I take off Marino.
Marino, nah.
Well, only because, they're the only team to go undefeated.
Yeah, but then it's Jim Kick and Mercury Morris, too. I mean, that was a team effort, wouldn't you say, Santos?
Yes, definitely yes.
Listen, Zonka, we definitely thought of. You mentioned Brian Greasy before as well. It's funny because, Santos, and thank you for the phone call, all the Miami Dolphins, you have to go to 30 years ago. I mean, we talked about maybe Zach Taylor.
Jason Taylor
and Zach Thomas. Who else? I mean, Tua's not making that list. They've gone through multiple head coaches. The team has no identity. It's still Marino.
Yeah,
Which is crazy.
And Shula has a huge presence down there as well. I mean, of course, they haven't even come close. Not even close for many years.
No, and now you have, Bradley Chubb, who is on the team saying that, all this whole talk about us changing the culture, well, it turns out there was just a bunch of BS. Nothing changed at all. Like, that is not good for Mike McDaniel.
I mean, isn't the whole key to them when Tua's on the field, they're good. When Tua's off the field, they're bad? Feels like
Tua
that's
was on the field mostly last year.
Not really. I feel like when Tua got hurt and they went away, and then he got hot at the end of the year, they need Tua. And if that's your formula, is that ever going to work?
Well, they paid him, so it's not like he's going anywhere.
Yeah, he looked bigger in this offseason again. He changes his look every year. Have you guys seen the new Tua?
No, is it still?
You wouldn't recognize him.
Well, he was unrecognizable last year. We thought he maybe did something with his teeth.
Yeah, he changed his hair again. He does all sorts of things every year.
He's reinventing himself.
Yeah, he needs to reinvent himself to be healthier, and then they'll be okay.
Funny, could have been an Aaron Rodgers destination.
Oh, I will give you Aaron Rodgers to the Rams could have worked. Aaron Rodgers to Miami, I don't know. Nah. You need a strong team around you.
They're going to wish they had him. 888-710-4i7. I'll give you the number. We got to go. What am I doing? We got to say goodbye. I don't want to. Thank you, EJ Stewart. Thank you, Manny Rodriguez, Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan. You guys on the phones are awesome. EJ, who do we have tomorrow?
Not sure. Stand by.
Mount Olympus.
Hurry up, EJ. Hurry up.
Maggie Perloff.
Trying. Seattle.
Yeah.